Ahead of more key inflation data out this morning, we're looking at a bit of a negative start to the session for North American stock futures. You can see core CPI data for October just out there at 8:30, 0.6% versus 0.4% expected. So higher than expected 2 days in a row for that inflation data. Thursday is a government holiday in the U.S. for Veterans Day. So they also released initial jobless claims numbers there at 8:30, 267,000 versus 265,000. So both numbers there a little bit higher than expected. We'll have a look at, as I said, a bit of a negative start to the session here. For North American futures, we're coming off a bit of a negative showing yesterday as well, following count them, 9 straight days to the upside for most U.S. equities. It has been quite the run to the upside, powered by better than expected earnings right across the board. More to look at today. We'll talk a little bit about Disney, Affirm, and Bumble, all set, among others, obviously, all set to report aftermarket tonight. We get Rivian today. We'll talk about Tesla, big move, obviously, to the downside, testing 1,000 already in the pre-market here. Coinbase, Fubo, and Plug Power topping the list of earnings to kind of sift through this morning. It's Wednesday, November 10th. 2021, tradertv.live starts now. Yeah, big spike down on that CPI number this morning for futures. Not a huge decline overall, still 0.36. We were hovering around the break-even point heading into that number, but you can see the NASDAQ now 0.6% to the downside, the Dow about flat. TSX futures here in Toronto, 0.25% to the downside, about the same to the upside for Brazil. Negativity coming back into crypto markets as well, but again, that inflation number, guys, coming out biting the market here a little bit. We saw a little bit of a different feel yesterday following the producer price index. Today we get CPI number that was also, again, if you missed it there, higher than expected. Not good so far for the futures here.
Yeah, good morning. It's hump day, but as you said there, not necessarily great. I mean, if you're going to sit there, if CPI is going to continue to run hot, you run the risk of when the Fed said that they would be open to changing the timeline for tapering, that meant it could go slower, but also it could go faster, and that would increase the timeline for also interest rate hikes potentially. So I think that's why we're going to be a little bit more sensitive to prints. Tesla's already bounced off 1,000 once. The question is, can it do it again as it's testing right back towards those lows? And Upstart, I mean, that one, hey, here's the pullback. It's 25% down and, testing 230. There's some stocks coming into levels that are pretty interesting. Tesla specifically, I mean, the gap on the daily, it's like 1,000 then to 900, right? So there's some big levels coming up in some of these names. A lot of earnings to get to. I know there's a couple coming after market as well. And then, of course, something called Rivian, which is debuting today.
Yeah, we already have good morning, guys. We already have our market buy set up to go on Rivian. So we're going to be taking that opening print long. We put that on our sticky note, and we're excited to take that today. PayPal also back down near. Here's the imbalance locator. There's nothing happening here. Roblox a small sell today, 106. I mean, most stocks are going to give back here in the morning on this dip down here on the CPI number, but 0.9 versus 0.6. I don't think it's that bad. People, they should have been expecting a horrible number, and they got one. So we'll wait to see what happens, but that's Roblox on the sell. And I did have, before we clicked on Roblox there, I had PayPal up as well. I think we can try to make the same trades we've been doing here, long near this 200 and then see if it breaks. So yesterday, we finally made some money on PayPal. We took the long all the way down, and you guys saw basically at, what was it, 350 or 340 there in the afternoon. We finally got out of our last piece there, turning PayPal a positive name for us on the day. So, hey, man, super excited here today. A bunch of stocks there. Coinbase should be exciting as well. I don't think that number was as bad as it appears to be here. So we'll be trading a lot today. Rivian, Coinbase, PayPal, NEO. Hey, this is the right place to be.
SOS, yeah, halt here. Crypto-related stock, SOS Limited. We'll have a look at that coming up, obviously. We'll touch on Rivian. That's an impressive couple of day move for Tesla, obviously, as well. So just a heads up, SOS halted. Before we go any further, let's get over to say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. It's going to be an exciting, busy day, and I wish you success. Please make sure to like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, lots to discuss, guys. Before we get to the open, under an hour to go. Tesla erasing 199 billion in market cap in 2 days there. Worst couple of days in 14 months to the downside, as we said, guys, back to that 1,000 mark. Going to be the focus of a lot of people, I feel, today. How do we approach this?
I think one of the things that actually, when I tweeted this morning, someone was like, what did you mean by the upstart comment? And what I was sort of getting at, because I said, upstart, if it goes up violently and a ... with the implication that it can come down just as violently. And I think that's what you obviously saw with Tesla. I mean, you get the news, of course, that Elon is going to be selling those shares, which he had to do anyways, and then he put a positive spin on it. That doesn't really make a difference. And then all you had happen was it went up so tremendously, and $1 trillion companies don't do this, or they did, but don't normally do something like that. And when you get that kind of rapid movement, the rug can get pulled, or at least the floor can get pulled just as quickly. And I think once things started to snowball, there really wasn't anything sort of obvious. So you got to that 1,000 level. That's where it kind of tried to hold, and that's what's again happening here today. I was sitting there like I should have made a trade at 7. I've never traded, even thought about Tesla before 8 a.m. And when it got to 1,000, it was literally 1,050 cents, and then made a turn. And I just, you kind of hope that that's not the only bounce you can get, but this is it right here. And it came like 20 bucks into the upside, pretty clean. There was one pullback that wasn't even that deep. Now we're gonna retest this level. Do I have some concerns if 1,000 breaks? I mean, yeah, when you look at the daily chart and the next level down is like 900, you start to think about a few things. When we were looking at this double bottom here and then the consolidation break, that's 540 to like 643. And then you think about that resistance when it just checked up there at like 750, 800. Like those prices, we're talking about mid-October, right? So, ultimately, if we came back to there, like it seems like it's ridiculous because of how far it went to the upside. Of course, that's insane. But realistically, those aren't crazy prices for Tesla. So I think that's what I think spooks a lot of people. It's like, well, it could come down that fast. I don't know where to get back into some shares here, but yeah, no worries. So Sean said to take a call there. I'm starting to think about, okay, so for the first time ever, I sold some shares up at that top. And this was before the Elon announcement that he was selling. Like I had that came out of nowhere, so I got lucky there. But I'm not sure where to get back in. When I look at it, it's like, yeah, I should be waiting for sub 900 when I look at the chart here, at least for it to settle on any potential 1,000 break. So I think you got to be open to playing it in both directions. 1,100 was obviously a short that I should have had yesterday. I just was sort of in that mode of picking the bottoms and ignored that 1,000 level, 1,100. But that 1,000 break, that's the kind of thing where if it's a fail break, yeah, you can absolutely get burned on it. But if it churns through that level, I think there's some definite room to the downside. If it's a fail break, we're probably going to see, like a 1050 very, very quickly. But that's the kind of like breakdown, like the same way you would take 1,000 break to the upside. I mean, 1,000 break to the downside is going to be hard to ignore.
The big question, obviously, a lot of people talking about it yesterday, was that, in fact, Elon selling. Obviously, we're not going to know that for quite some time, but does the selling continue? It looks to be that way in the pre-market here. Important levels to kind of contain Tesla. That note, Neil, we were talking earlier this morning, Elon himself losing 50 billion yesterday in that move to the downside. The run up is so impressive over the year. The stock is still up 45%. If you go out to a daily chart or weekly chart even, we're not even halfway back from where this thing broke out.
No, and that's sort of the thing. Like we're just talking about, those prices they're not unreasonable when you start thinking about it being at like 700, 800, more like 800, 900, and Elon will be fine, 50 billion, whatever. He'll be fine. I just, I look at myself and I spent basically the majority of my train ride home thinking specifically about the Tesla trade. A little bit about Naked Brands and why that wasn't the only thing I did yesterday. If there was one, sometimes it's just like one good trade. There probably wasn't a better trade in my estimation is just simply shorting Naked Brands above 90 cents in front of $1, right? Like that was probably the lowest hanging fruit in the existence of the market yesterday. But at the end of the day, Tesla, I bottom picked. I definitely got into early. a couple of times. And then this is what I was talking about, that 1100 not getting involved. Now, if it breaks 1,000, am I going to take a short? Sure. At that point, I start looking at that double top, and I misspoke. I said 1050 a couple seconds ago. This level here, like a 1060. I think if there's a failed break, it probably gets to that level again. It would be shocking to me. Well, it wouldn't be that shocking to me if this ended up being like a one-day screaming event, but it doesn't. It just didn't feel that way. Part of looking at what happened to like an Upstart and what some of these other names has you at least in the back of your mind saying, okay, well, there's certainly some people that are a little bit more conscious and more confident shorting something like a Tesla in this recent market, which does a couple of things. It means it can exacerbate the moves down, making breaks better. It also does work both ways, and that's why I'm preaching caution. Make sure if you take a short, you have a bit of an out, because there could be more people feeling emboldened in those, and if it is a snapback trade, you're going to want to make sure you've identified where you're wrong in every single instance. I know you should do that anyways. I just think you got to be extra careful on the breaks here today for Tesla, as it feels like we're not going to make it till 9:30 till we get that 1,000 test again, because we're at 1,005.
A few other notable earnings names to kind of discuss this morning, not necessarily on the watch list, but kind of keep them in your back pocket here. Fiverr, one of those, F-E-R-R, big move here in the pre-market. Fubo TV as well, interesting one we've looked at numerous times. Yes, smashing their subscriber goal in Q3. The subscriber number was huge for Fubo guys, but basically flat as they kind of forecast a bigger loss coming for Fubo.
Yeah.
Look, the forecast wasn't great, and the EPS wasn't great either. And this is one of those. Again. And we were looking at this one so many times, right? And it's not to be like a broken record or anything, but when it got to this 35 level, it's like ring it, ring the register, sell some. Plug was exactly the same setup. And some of it's about earnings, about maybe trimming some because you're getting beaten up if you miss expectation, but most of it had to do with getting into that resistance anyways, right? And allowing something like this to break before you either get more shares or allow it to pull back off of that resistance. So that's what you're seeing here with Fubo post earnings. Usually you talk about that 3-day waiting period and letting it settle down. It might have a couple of days to this 28, 29 area. We have a convergence of the 200 and the 50 period moving average, and it could catch a bit of a bid. That's where I'd be looking to see if there's some stabilization in the upcoming days. I guess that could be next week because today is already Wednesday, and and then you rinse and repeat. But I think that's the whole line in this earnings wave that we're in. You can't miss. You can't disappoint on guidance, and it's just especially if you're a company that's not making money yet. And it's to say that every single one of those is going to get beaten up. Well, it's probably just going to go down twice as much as you would normally think. In this particular case, you're seeing Fubo down 10% when it had been on such a fantastic run. But it had also been up 30% in a couple of weeks. So sometimes it's about where it's come from, and it's very difficult to break out unless things are perfect. I mean, Upstart beat across the board. And they're down 24%. Like Fubo TV is not going to be able to miss and not be suffering from it.
Yeah, I'm with you. We had some tops there at 34, 35. It's the same way why I sold some AMD at 150, some Coinbase yesterday at 360, and you feel bad when you're doing it. Like I was selling AMD even on the way up the first time. Got some out 119, got some out like 105. I mean, you're all doing that, right? And I think that there must have been some profit taking up here, which seems to have been the right play, but that's in the past, so we'll move forward. And I just, I look at the numbers. Great, almost 1 million total subscribers, right? It's fantastic. Great, but missed 74 cents versus 61. That's not going to be good. If they can't make money adding that many subscribers, then what is up for Fubo TV moving forward? I think this 30 break is just a psychological level, and I think we break it today, and I like to go short Fubo TV. And again, it's the same worries I have for Disney today. It's how many of these subscribers are paid subscribers? How many, obviously they're not charging enough if they can't make money on 1 million total subs, right? But this is the other thing. They could be a buyout candidate. They could be, looking to expand their offerings. There could be something else more coming with Fubo TV. So, I mean, congratulations to hit that almost $1 million mark. But at the same time, you know, it's not good. Down 9% here. It has a nice run in it. Fubo TV has on the daily chart if I can find it. But, you know, it's been, like I was saying right here, the nice bottom of October. You went from $23 up to $34 in under a month, right? So that's a big move up there. You double, triple topped up here at 34, 35. So let's wait to see. The 50 period is at $28. And I think even for a Fubo shareholder, look, it sucks. You're down 9%. You're expecting the moon, right? But you're still up nicely from a month ago, and I think we do settle somewhere around 28, but for now we're going to short 30.
Okay, let's go to Palantir here. Sean, almost 3 million shares traded on Palantir here in the pre-market. Kathy Wood's ARC coming out yesterday on the dip. 1.483 million shares being bought by Kathy here yesterday after the earnings.
Look, I mean, it was Palantir's worst day in, what was it, 6-9 months, something like that. It was a very, very horrible day yesterday for Palantir. And honestly, we went over the numbers. I didn't see a number that missed. So I'm not sure exactly what's up with that. But then again, with inflation and with, you know, all the talk right now, if you don't completely beat and then guide much higher, you're going to get whacked. But it is nice to see that Kathy Wood came in and bought some shares here as well. I'm not buying more shares. I'm going to try. It's the 3-day rule, right? I sort of coined that when we had Mark Roberts on. I talked to him about it. He thought that made a little bit of sense and had heard about that. So I think we're going to do that. I mean, 1, 2, 3. You're right back into $23. We wrote it on our sticky note today. It's in the bottom. It's in the bottom right corner here, and it just simply says Palantir 23, right? So you can see. I'll just pull it up right here just so people can see it. It's just Palantir 23. We have Tesla, Coin, Rivian, Neo, Fubo, PayPal, and then right there, we're going to look at $23 because if you look at the daily chart, it's kind of obvious into here. You have this bottom of 23. We go all the way back to October 8th, October 10th, these kind of bottoms. You did swoon down below and hit some $20, which I hope we don't get to that. But right now, we'll defend that 23. We'll see where we go. But yeah, man, 3 million shares already today. And heading to the south side, another 3%. Yesterday, we were down 8 or 9. You add 3% to that. You're pulling back about 12 on this name. Not great. So Palantir, again, it's like I said, it's just back to where we were about a month ago. So it is similar to that Fubo TV. And I just think you got to give it 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. If we're lucky enough to get something, I mean, I don't consider it lucky to be able to buy a hell of a lot lower. I'd rather be buying a hell of a lot higher. But Palantir, if it comes back into 22, then that's a screaming buy, in my opinion, down into here. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the report. But at the same time, it doesn't matter what I think. The market is going to always be right. And I'm going to be picking this up near 23, but be patient. I'm not buying it right off the open. It has to come in to this 23 level. That way I know where I'm wrong.
Upstart.
Another one, guys, with a big move here in the pre-market. I mentioned Fiverr up, 16% in a very, very tight range, basically a dollar range here, back in, the middle of this choppy mess on the daily chart, but huge gap on an earnings beat for Fiverr as well.
Yeah, so I guess like things go both ways here, right? I think that's what we'll talk about with. Oh goodness, now it's
Palantir, Fubo,
well, DoorDash,
Fiverr,
DoorDash.
Upstart.
DoorDash, because DoorDash is up
If
huge.
I just say them all, eventually you'll get it. So DoorDash,
everything's
Upstart.
down.
Okay, yeah.
I looked at my quote board today, and it was like
You can find something.
it was like
that's
small
up
cap,
now.
small cap, small cap, DoorDash that was up at Fiverr, and then everything else was basically down or flat. So I mean, obviously, these things work in both ways. Fiverr in particular, the good sign about this gap up, at least for now in the pre-market, because it's done literally no volume, guys, under 100,000 shares here. Holding this 50 period, room to run. So remember that Tesla chart where it was like it was a double bottom, but then it had a double higher low as well. I mean, this is a little bit different here, but breaking the 50 period at it's about like 184.65 or so. Just looking at it here, and then you sort of come back in and look at it hold right around these levels. Again, there's no volume, so completely ignore this wall you see here, what seems like a wall at 187. If there was volume on this would be setting up for just like the cleanest break of all time. But this is a situation where if it holds the bottom, this could be a potential break. You're like, yeah, but it can't go, it's up 15%, it's not gonna go any further. Well, tell that to Roblox, tell that to, I forget what did it the other day too. It was the trade desk, which is, well, it was like up, and then it gap. It's like, can it go further? Well, yes, it could go further. And I think you have to look at the stocks that are actually showing some strength and be willing to sort of understand they can go further. The same way that we're willing to say, the Tesla, if it breaks 1,000 here, could fall. Like, it's not a guarantee it catches a bid at that price. I mean, fantastic if it does. Obviously, anyone holding shares kind of hopes it does. And it's the same thing with Upstart. It's like, don't assume because it's down 25% it can't go further. So, with Fiverr here, I wouldn't put the breakout trade on simply because there is literally no volume in the pre-market, and I'm going to stick to that rule. Like, the spread sits at I'm looking at a $1.79 spread on the level 1 price. There's probably some tiny shares in there, but again, like, that's essentially nothing. So, I'm not going to trade it in the pre-market, but it's definitely one of the strong ones to have. And if it can hold the bottom, I think it's worth a long.
I haven't really even looked at Fiverr today. Too expensive, but yeah, nice move to the upside there. And yeah, I'm not. The reason why I was looking at Palantir there, obviously, it's on our watch list. I saw someone say like that I'm fixated with Palantir. I'm not at all. I mean, Palantir's not even a huge holding for me. I mean, we've talked about the big ones that I have. I just really, I really believe in the company, and I like the data collection side of everything. I like the analytics side, and it does provide us the fact that it's $23 and moves, 9, 5, 9%, 10%, 3%, has these moves in it as a day trade. I think it's a great tool to trade, and there's some key levels here, and it's day 2 of earnings, so that's why we're talking about it. I've been both ways. When I don't put Palantir on the sticky note, people wonder if I'm feeling okay, and then when I do talk about it, it's like I'm obsessed with it. But another top there, we talked about AMD, and I know we're getting a little bit on in time. We actually have. And should I tease everybody and tell them that Arun is in the building today? So he'll be up at the big screen.
He's in that shot. They might have already seen.
Oh, there he is. Yo, what's up, Arun? There he is. There's a little wave, so Arun over the court.
I'm surprised
I'm surprised he's sitting. There he is.
Yeah, you can see
there he is right there. I'm surprised he's actually sitting at that spot. I don't know. We redid a lot of these computers around here, and I don't think he's happy with that.
He just likes being close.
Yeah, he likes being real close. Yeah. He asks me for advice all the time. He whispers in my ear, what should I do with the futures? And I just tell him. So, all right. But anyways, AMD, another play here. And it's just great to have Arun in the building. Just in case, someone breaks in here, we need some bodyguards. Up to 155 and change. It has happened before. Anyways, we'll talk about that after. 144, but it's great to have Arun in the building. 150, 144. You're going to see AMD here down another 3%. And what a great monster move up. This is why you cash a little bit out. The same thing on NVIDIA. I think you got to buy a lot of these lower. This is a good time to be in cash, and if you haven't raised any cash yet, I mean, do some selling today. If there's magically a pop up a little bit today, I think you can get out, and you don't have to worry too much about what's to come. The Nasdaq's just been on such a monster run, and I don't want to sit here and be like Debbie Downer and all this kind of stuff all the time, right? But the Nasdaq, once this loads up, we had 9 straight days, or was it even more than that? I mean, It's really an epic run, honestly, in the market from 355. We're just talking about the Qs here. From 355 on October 13th. So today's November 10th. So in 18 or so trading days, you go from 355 up to 400 in a major broad market. I mean, this is the NASDAQ 100, right? So a lot of those stocks getting super heated. What a great move. I mean, this $55 move is I mean, we didn't even have, it took you a long time to make $50, right? And then this is a big move to the upside here for the Qs. So for me, to get some pullback into the 50-period moving average, we talked about buying in the first week in October. That was down here. Boom. Now maybe you sell in the first week of November. It was a super great month, and it just doesn't surprise me at all. I think we sell off a little bit, and we probably come back into here. 385, something like that, 380, a little bit of a pullback down in the NASDAQ. So I think you have about 1% and a bit at least left. I mean, you're onto this. So 2 or 3% down into here, I think gives us where we need to be. I mean, that's, if you take off $30, that's 10%, right? So 400, 390, you take off $20 out of that, and you're back into here, 370, 375. So $20 on 400 is about a 4% or so pullback. So I think the Nasdaq's due for something here. I would be surprised if it was 4%, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised.
And then before you know it, Santa Claus will be here, and we'll probably get a Christmas rally as well. We'll talk about Rivian coming up here, obviously, the big IPO today. Let's revisit what happened yesterday quickly, guys. I know a lot of people will have Hertz still kind of in the back of their mind and wondering what to do with this thing on day 2. So, I mean, it ended up being a bit of a nothing story outside of the opening yesterday.
There was there was 3 good opportunities on it. Obviously, the open was, pretty nuts. And if you played it you played it either direction. If you played the long off the open, great. I mean, Hertz is going to give you, that 26.5 right into $1, $1.50. I think we both decided to play the short side of this, and we're looking at the 27.5 and 28 shorts. That was fantastic. It then broke down. It held 26 initially, and then once that flushed, and this is the only level that, outside of the even dollars, is the only level worth watching, is 26.5 gave you multiple short opportunities down into this like 25.5 price area. Now, it traded above in the pre-market, but trust me, it's done absolutely no volume, so I would throw that out the window. 26.50 is still going to be your resistance point. If it has any chance to go, it's got to break through that, and that's probably the only breakout that I would even sniff looking at. Volume just not really there. 28 is your high from yesterday, and then I wouldn't even give it to this low. I think if it sees the low at 25.40, it probably tests the even dollar. So that's what to watch for on Hertz. Had there been more volume, yeah, I probably would be taking a closer look at it today, but today everyone's going to be eyeballs on Rivian and then some of these crazy movers. Like people will be watching Tesla and Upstart and things like Palantir and things like Fubo and Plug Power. That's why they're on the watch list. Hertz, sure, there's some opportunities there, but I'd need to see it break in 26.50 on volume, which doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Yeah, yesterday Hertz was great. We put on a nice trade here right at the end of the day when you guys were watching us at 3 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. We're back live every day, 2 to 4, right? So we started trading this, put on a short there, and then it blew down to the downside right here. And I think Hertz is a short all day, every day here. This is a bankrupt company that's come back to life here on the fact that they're going to be buying 100,000 Teslas. That's great, but they got to fill the order. They don't even have a deal with Tesla. They just flat out saying that they want to buy 100,000. So that's great. So do I. A lot of companies probably want to do that. Uber probably wants to do that. Anyways, end of story here on Hertz is, does it have a chance to go upside? Of course it does, but it comes back to market. It was bankrupt for a reason. I just wonder, are people going to be renting cars still? I don't know. I don't know about the rental car business anymore. I do understand that obviously today with Rivian coming out, there's going to be a lot of hype about the EV space, and Hertz may get some love on this too. So, we'll wait to see. I think electric vehicles helps these guys out, although when you rent a car, you're the one paying for gas, right? Not them. So I don't know where that is, but I do know that maintenance and things like that on Teslas are relatively nothing. So that does help a company like Hertz. And then also, they make money. This is the other aspect of a company like Hertz or Avis, things like that, is that they make money reselling their cars as well. So that's the other point. When a car gets too old in their fleet, they dump it back to wholesale or something like that, and they get merked on those prices, right? But on purpose, so those are already booked in. Now, if you have Teslas on your balance sheet as an asset and you're going to trade those in, I believe they probably have a longer lifespan than your traditional car, and B, they're going to get a higher value for them in the resale market. So I think Hertz has, there are some catalysts to go both ways here, and you can see by yesterday's sort of introduction back into the market that it didn't do much. We opened up at 26.50. Sure, it goes crazy off the open. That's fine. We are involved in this, and then it sort of settled down, and right now you're just getting back into the same prices. So it looks like it was priced right. It came back to market, and Hertz has a few catalysts both ways. I think it's just going to be an interesting story moving forward.
A few analyst moves for you this morning. Upgrades, interesting GE on here after the news that we talked about past couple of days. Palantir, there it is. DoorDash, Aurora Cannabis, top of the list. PayPal on this side of the board today, along with Lemonade and Wynn. Guys.
Whoever made the Lemonade one, it's right at 62. Good price target. We're already there. PayPal 264. Obviously they were going to be a lot higher. And I think I sort of echo what Sean said. Well, for the day trade on PayPal, anyways. I'll echo what Sean said. The only trade to catch the long was off of the 200 level. So much the same way, you're going to be staring dead eye at 1,000 on Tesla. You're staring dead eye at 200 on PayPal, right? If that level goes on PayPal, there's definitely room here. You look at what happened the last time we traveled through that price and the way that it broke out. It was a break, and there was a consolidation to exactly 10% higher, and then that took you straight essentially into the double top. So if we break this, you got to start thinking about 190 and then 175 for PayPal. And those are probably larger areas of support if you look at least in the chart, right? Down below 200, those are larger areas of support. So there is some room to go for PayPal. I'm not saying it absolutely has to happen, and I'll probably take a shot long in front of 200 and then just put a 200 stop on it if it breaks. And maybe even I'll go long if it's a fail break and it comes right back. There's lots of ways to play around there, limiting your losses in the case it falls to the downside, but there's no way that I want to be sitting in a 200 long when this is like printing like 199, 198. That's not like a bury yourself type position. If anything, you should be looking for a potential reversal in a situation like that. So, PayPal certainly one to watch. It got the downgrade. I know the price target still shows some upside. That's all the way. The price target's basically, like right here, like between the 50 and the 200 period, which would be, that'd be great if it can get there sometime early next year, I would say. But it has to hold this 200 level. That's going to be very, very key. Otherwise, decent chance you could be headed 10% lower.
Yeah, I'm putting the orders in right now on PayPal, trying to get some bids right here on PayPal.
Coinbase.
Also, yeah, and I saw you talked about that, Jude, there, that I missed the Fubo, and I did. I took a call. We're getting a new garage door today, so I had to make sure that was going all good. But anyways, you can see right here, there's that 30 break, man. We miss it. So it breaks $30. It was the only thing. It's on our sticky note right now, and that was a good break, man. Down 30 down to 229.65. So we'll just take, this is a very, very small short right here. This is not the greatest price. I thought obviously we wanted to get 30, but thank you, Jude, for bringing that to my attention. And now we'll just have to average in. So we're waiting now at 90. We just took this just so we could have it. So now we could watch this. So this is a very, very small position. Honestly, back end up here, this is what we're looking at. 30, 31, 30, 50. I like to put a bigger short on at 30, 50 if we do rip up. But I am nervous about some early action on this name. So I don't want to get out until we break through 32 on the short side. So if it breaks upside 32, then we'll get out, but we're going to be averaging in all the way up. We're going to take a 30.50, then a 31.50, and then we'll see about $32 on Fubo TV. So that's the call there, and thank you to Jude, but I did miss that one. What's up, Brendan?
All right, let's get a check of the overall market here. As we mentioned, Arun is in the building this morning and joining us to have a look at the futures this morning. Off of that CPI number, Arun, a bit of a down move.
Yeah, so a couple things with the market. In terms of the movement, there hasn't been a whole lot. We're still somewhat in the range. Yesterday, we broke down through that 90. We had that wave of selling that took us into the low 60s. We cracked that 65. I was keeping an eye on that 65. We're still flirting with that area. So that area is somewhat flexible, but it's still there. So I'm just going to mark off a couple of zones that I want to work with. 47.15 is still the top end. That has been in play the entire time. 46.90 is now the new level that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. If we can get into the mid 70s, I'm looking for potential shorts, but there's no way I would touch any shorts down here at these low 60s. The next potential support, and I'm not sure how this is going to play out until we actually get through 50 or get close to 50, then you can figure out whether it's a long or not, is going to be 46.40. If we get down into the 50s and start to find some support, maybe taking a shot off the bid, and then going back into the mid 60s for a 15-point gain with a 15-point risk. So it's a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio in terms of going long. But for now, I am looking to see what this market is going to do in the mid 70s and potentially use 46.90 as a stop. In terms of overall movement as an intraday day trader, you're not getting too much opportunity. There's like maybe one window for the short yesterday, and that was it. Then the market chopped up, and this is how it's been trading for the last little bit. At some point, this market has to move out of this trading action. Whenever that happens, though, it is going to be exciting. So for now, be prepared. It is muted action until we get that expansionary move, regardless of what the catalyst is. If it expands, we will get some volatility, which is great for traders. So we're just going to wait for that. Until that happens, we're just going to tighten up things and keep an eye on a couple close levels. If we get the perfect opportunity, we'll take the shot. Otherwise, we're just going to sit and wait.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. There was a headline there, guys, on Twitter and Viacom, CBS teaming up on a new partnership. So heads up on Twitter there, a little bit of a pop. Not a lot of volume, but Viacom and Twitter teaming up on a deal. Let's get into the watch list, guys. If you haven't already done so, that is the link you need to go to for the free morning watch list. We send it out every single morning. This week brought to you by MarketScreener.com. They're going to join us actually today at 10:30 to review the European session, some highlights from the European market. So join us at 10:30 again. MarketScreener.com coming through to talk about Europe. Let's talk about Tesla, guys. Or if you want to check out Twitter here. It's just it looks like a content deal here between Viacom, CBS, and Twitter. Neither really moving around, but we can talk about Tesla, obviously.
Oh my goodness. 1,000. I mean,
I mean, Tesla's right there.
$1,000.
We hit that yesterday, of course, and wow, it's right here, right now. I don't have any bids out. I'm going to wait for the market to open. I was really hoping that we would maybe come crashing into this 1,000 and then bounce off of it. That is what's happening right now, and I guess we could take it in the pre-market. I mean, it's just look at the spread. It's $2. So, I mean, if you put on 100 shares right now, it's not the end of the world. It's just like you're instantly down that 200 and you haven't done anything. And then let alone when you break that 1,000 in the pre-market, I don't know what the flush looks like. So for me right now, it's going to be a wait and hold and see, obviously, on Tesla here. The rug pull probably is Rivian today, man. I mean, this comes to market. It kind of reminds me of Coinbase when they came to market at past all-time highs. They literally came to market at Bitcoin 60K, and then about a month later, Bitcoin was at 30,000, right? So not to say that Bitcoin and EV space are the same, but they're not far from it as far as the hype and where we all think these spaces are going. So I'm a little bit nervous for Tesla shareholders here, only because this move is like, it stands out like a sore thumb. I mean, I'm long Tesla. I didn't get out of any, and I don't plan on doing it, and I want to buy more, but I just feel like this is such a played game now, right? There's people are on the options. They're doing everything. They're buying covered calls. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening here with Tesla, and I mean, this is just a monster move down. Plus, you know, their heralded leader seems to be off his rocker a little bit with some of these tweets, and I just think that he's done it before. It's not uncharacteristic, but it's dangerous right now. And I think that if you're going to trade this name, you got to have your stops, you got to have your ins, your outs. And for me, 1,000 is about as clear as it could be. Yeah. It just ticked down to 1,000 and what? 50 cents? I don't know if that
was the first time. I think that time we got to 1,002.
Yeah, maybe. It looked like 1,003 or so, but
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, look, we could sit here and talk about it all day, but if it breaks 1,000, great for anybody that's short. And then I don't really know where we stop. I mean, 999 is this tick right here. This is 1,000, and then you didn't get to test 1,000 on the upside. We were joking about it that it was going to break after market or whatever. So we don't know what this area looks like. You could break 1,000 and then stop at 9 bills. I mean, that could go down. Yesterday we were thinking it was going to limit down yesterday, right? So maybe it even should have halted. And what happens when this thing halts at 900? If it breaks 1,000 and that for some reason causes a huge panic.
Look, man, I'll tell you this. I mean, I said this yesterday, and I kind of was joking. Look, and I wasn't joking when I said I wanted it to halt down. Like, I know that's not, nobody wants to see this thing go down 10%, right? But I just feel like if a $1 trillion company were to limit halt down, it would present just the absolute granddaddy of day trading opportunities. Now we had that, I forget the name of the company, we had that one that had the bad news and it turned into a penny stock, went from like, that was insane in the afternoon show. I actually forget the name of the company, but it will be that kind of an opportunity. And that's what I sort of meant by that yesterday. And if 1,000 breaks, I think minimum, it's $5 in slippage worth of risk on that trade. And that's like your absolute bare minimum, right? Like realistically, I think it could be $10 worth of risk, and that could be even conservative. So you got to be thinking about that when you're trading a $1,000 name here, if you're going to be day trading. I'm taking 1,000 short if it goes. It's felt a couple of times like it was going to happen in the pre-market, but guess what? It's now bounced off a higher low a couple of times. So it's not impossible that maybe Tesla gets a little bit of a bounce here. So, you know, I'm open to the idea. I mean, 10.25 is going to stand out as a psychological potential break. You know, and again, if you take a break on that, you still probably risking $10. Or if you're really frisky and you just want to risk $25 back to 1,000, you know, go for it. It's not impossible that you could see 1060, that level we talked about before, and that's 2-to-1, right? So it's not a horrible notion. I'm still looking at 1,000 break. It does feel like it's going to happen before the open, but you know, if it doesn't happen, I don't get the fill. I don't get the trade.
All right, we started the show, guys, with that SOS halt. It's an offering, $51.5 million ADS offering at $1.75 for SOS. Again, crypto related there, so heads up if you're looking at that or trading SOS today. Let's talk Coinbase. Interesting move here already. I mean, $10 essentially back to the upside on Coinbase. I mean, $405.3 million up from $81.3 million. Total revenue is down, but pretty strong move higher here.
Yeah.
Like there were some positives there.
We
Like
wanted the long. I just couldn't find a spot.
I'm sick for two things. A, that I didn't sell any shares up here to take some advantage of it like Sean did. But B, I think there was a chance at a long. Maybe you had to get it off of 320. Some chatter in the talking in the chat, and I preferred that 315 area, had it dip down and giving you that a second chance. Again, I just on the daily chart that 315, 317 looks a little bit better than just sticking in at that 320, which obviously would have been the right call. But I think it was like 59% of trading volume had come from not Bitcoin and Ethereum because they've been making a lot of additions there. That was up like 50% from previous quarters. So a lot of the right things are happening on that front. And of course, there's still more that they have to do. And ultimately, I partly feel like, and not partly, I think a lot of what has to do with what happened in the aftermarket last night is just think of the day, right? So when you have some of those misses, think of the way the day went yesterday and how negative the feeling was and how shocked everybody was in the midst of, I know Upstart got absolutely crushed as well. So it's like that probably contributes to this selling off a little bit more and getting to that 300 level. But it's always a pretty bullish sign when you have a drop like this that it gaps back up. And it's not a gap up from where it closed, but it gaps back up and catches a bid. And then all of a sudden you're holding a higher low. These are all very bullish signs on a gap down. That's why we did like the long. Now ultimately, don't have it. It got through the first dip point the first rejection it had in the aftermarket. That's a 328. We're already through that as well. So I mean, outside of defending 320, there's not a heck of a lot to do with it. It's maybe a 330 break on that. But at the open, I kind of feel like I'll be looking at that 320 in addition to Tesla 1000 and this DXF, which DXF just all the world feels like the naked brands of today because all you gotta do is slap blockchain and metaverse and then suddenly you expect to be up and then holding those gains. I don't think so.
Yeah, I was trying to find a spot to go long on Coinbase, and I thought if we did crash into here, this 310 or so area would be something to look at, right? But unfortunately, that's not happening. I looked over the numbers. I even sat here and read the notes that we had, and was like really just confused because it didn't seem like it was horrible, but again, not great. I mean, they deserve to be down this 8%, and the only reason why I did sell because of the fact that I thought we completed this all the way back up to 360 here, and then if they did beat, hopefully we would have had a chance to buy some 380s. So, but the point is that whatever, man. I mean, I sold some at the top, but unless I buy back in, it doesn't really matter. We'll wait to see what happens here. That's that 360 that we sold on. I think now you've developed an area here of 320, so a pullback into there makes some sense to buy, but I think at this point you got to wait. Our Fubo TV is 30, 40, 50 cents in the money right now on this short, depending on where it goes. It's ticked down as low as 29.30. That was our short. Our short is this short right here, 69 or 64, sorry, to the downside right there. So it was at one point 30 cents in the money. Looks like we've just came back in. So now just that 20 cents in the money right now on Fubo TV, and we're looking for that. And it just bounced off this 29.10, or not just bounced, but we do have these bottoms here of 29 and change. So looking at that, and then as we talked about Fubo, the 50 period's at 28.50 anyways. So I think a good out, if this does fall into the mid 28s, 28 something, we could get this out. So that's what I'm looking for here on Fubo TV. But Coinbase, yeah, let's check the imbalances. Maybe that'll give us some sort of an idea here if Coinbase is on here at all. Of course, NASDAQ, with Coinbase being on NASDAQ, it won't be on here. That comes at 928. Roblox a sell. What's that at? 106 still? Yeah, 105. That's not good. Again, with this inflation scare, that's how it works, right? These growth companies are valued at future earnings, right? Because they don't really have too much right now. So when there's inflation worries and interest rate worries and things like that, a stock like a Roblox and some of these high growth stocks will get hammered a little bit. So expecting that today for Roblox. It was only up 45% yesterday, so a nice little 4% pullback. And then we'll wait for now. Oh, there's QS. So here's another one. This was what, $38 or $40 yesterday, I believe. Close enough. Yeah, there it is right there. The 1 day up to 38 and change, and you're seeing this high flyer get hit back down again to 34 and change. I'm long UiPath. Sold some Ford to buy some of this at 53. And where's that now? It was 58. Yeah, probably back in today, 56. So some of these big names coming back in a little bit here. But I still want to buy all this weakness. It's getting close here. A couple more weeks, we'll buy some ARK, I think. I don't normally at all buy ETFs, but ARC's not bad. They have a few names I'm interested in.
Just quickly before we move on here, I was going to hit this one. We'll do this. Congratulations. Yeah, trying to get stuff. I could have just moved my Bitcoin chart up instead I do
Did
this
it just
for you
break
guys.
highs?
Yeah, just a bit of a breakout here at 68. So I didn't check Ethereum, but probably moving as well. So congratulations. I don't know if that extends to SOS because, as you mentioned, Brendan mentioned, I was just looking at Monday because I hadn't tracked this
New
stock and
all-time
someone was
highs.
asking about it. But SOS, that offering, of course, it's going to be trading down and still flushing a little bit here. So all-time Bitcoin running, Ethereum running, but SOS obviously on the offering. That's not going to be going up yet.
Huge move there for cryptos right across the board, guys. We'll have a look and see. What is behind that? But nice move for crypto holders. Let's talk Upstart, another one to the downside after earnings this morning. Big move, in fact. 325 or so, all the way down here to 240, 250, down 25% for Upstart.
Getting crushed. And first of all, thank you, Morgoth78, $5 super chat, appreciated. Arun only drinks tea because it says it's for Arun for his coffee, but Arun is a tea drinker. Yeah, he even just said tea all the way, which is fine. Everyone's got to do their own thing around here. So thank you very much for that. Upstart, look, they actually beat pretty much across the board. I mean, guidance was even pretty solid. It's just the way that this stock marched to the upside was, I mean, it was impressive. There's no word about it. Like, this was a breakout from 140. Like, that's the only way to think about it. This was a 140 breakout that took you almost to a triple up, and that happened from literally, call it like almost August, just to the top here in October, midway through October. And that's insane. So it goes up that fast, and then you're going to be able to slam back down like this. Now, there are some interesting levels you're getting to because the secondary break is right here off of the 230 level. That's what we're watching today. It was more like 231, but let's call it 230. And then if you break down that range, that's about a 188, and that was a previous high. So you're looking 188, 190 in the absolute worst case scenarios. You're looking right here at 230 is a pretty key level. It's been bouncing off that all morning, trying to hold out at that 230. It seems like, why would you go short something that's 25% down? But if 230 breaks, it's a difficult thing to hold on to. I'm watching Tesla continue to bounce off 1,000, and we're watching Upstart bounce off these levels. Obviously, different scenario because, Tesla's down 1% after yesterday's bloodbath, and Upstart is a much, much bigger gap into the downside. But it's a similar type of picture. Like, just don't assume that it has to catch a bit of a dead cat bounce here. It certainly could, but 230 is my level, not the pre-market low at 232. I'm looking at 230 when I went back to the daily chart. And we'll have to see what happens. Tesla obviously is going to be on board. And Coinbase, that was definitely a missed opportunity. I'm just staring at that because now that Bitcoin broke out, obviously Coinbase is going to continue the break it had already made.
Yeah, it should. Yeah. I'm not really sure why, but it should. Okay, so Upstart, sure, some of their numbers beat, but it was actually a pretty horrible quarter. That's obvious. It's down 25% there. Their net income down 22%. That's horrible. So it's just going to get crushed. All of a sudden, I guess some of these plays don't look so bad. PayPal, Palantir, but Upstart just comes right back in, man, down 25%. I know there's a lot of hype about it, and there's a lot of people caught at the top here. So hopefully you're able to get some out. Obviously, a breakthrough. This 50 period didn't exist for anybody, so we'll have to wait for it. But better everything. Like at least they forecasted higher revenues. But hey, they beat on revenues, right? Their revenues was 228 versus 214. So who really cares if they forecast higher revenues? Honestly, in my opinion, if they can't make money on higher revenues, then they got to adjust something else. So their cost base, something's out of whack here with Upstart. People are identifying that. But what a monster run up. I'm hoping that people that are still in this name are at least have some profit to them. It was a good dip buy in this area, so I could see how some people could get caught at about 320 here. And this is the risk of taking a serious position before earnings because you don't know where it's going to go. I'll probably trim if this is bad for Roblox. It's not bad for Roblox. We made 45% in one day, but worth trimming some because, again, some of these moves, just like this is probably too much to the downside, Roblox is probably too much to the upside. So we'll just have to watch Upstart here. Not a great quarter, and it probably gets hit even further than this. So 232 would be a good breaking spot, 232.50 to the downside, but you need to have this market open up.
Just a crazy move for that stock. I was looking this morning, it was 130, 140 in August. Went all the way almost to 400. Rivian, the next one on the list here, guys. Let's talk what to do with this today. I mean, we've been talking about it all week long, it seems. Rivian, a very hyped IPO. Lots of focus on this. Upsized their offering aftermarket yesterday. 153 million shares at $78 a piece.
So, I mean, I talked yesterday about why I always pay for the shorts, regardless of what I think about it, just because I like the flexibility of being played in different directions and have day trade the world the different orders out. So, I always use a limit on open order pretty much regardless of the price, and I'll just sort of look at what the indicative price is, and we'll give that to you. There's not going to be an update on, like, this is what we're staring at right now, and there's not going to be any indicative price just yet. But you want to see with reference to that 78, okay, well, is it stating it's going to open at 80, 82, and then is that getting pumped up to like 84 as more order flow comes through? That's positive momentum, right? And sometimes that'll lead me to say, okay, I want more shares. If it opens, if the first indicative price we get is say like 90, and then they update it to like 80, 88, then to 85, then to 83, and then it comes down close to that 78, well then I'd want less shares on the open. But I use limit orders, so like, you can put a market order in, or you can put a limit to like 100 or something like that. It's probably a distinction without a difference there, but that's what I tend to prefer to do. I also am open to the idea, and I'm probably going to play it this way. Let's just imagine it's call it like a 90 open, just for simplicity's sake, or like a 91 open, let's just say, and you take the opening print. If I see a big bid at 90 in front of the support, I'd probably double up the shares and then play, the long in front of a key level in addition to the open play, and then just have an obvious stop when that size goes, if there is that size. Now that hasn't been the case in a lot of the recent IPOs, but this is a much bigger one, right? Like this is, it's probably the biggest one we've seen in quite some time, and I would expect there to be some liquidity. I'd expect to see some big bids. I think the breakout, if it starts going, you can start thinking about the even dollar breaks as well. But I don't know when it's going to open up. That's a question we keep getting every single time. Nobody knows exactly the time that it's going to open. Can we say maybe around noon? Sure. Sometime around lunchtime, we're likely to get the open on Rivian. I want the opening print. I'll adjust size depending on how the momentum looks like with the indicative open price, up or down.
Yeah, so I'm already, there's nothing to show here, same as what Neil was, I was looking at Upstart. Yeah, I want to go long Rivian, and I think it's the same thing happens over and over again. You take the opening print, you see where it goes, and I put it on the chat, I put it on the sticky note here. It's just a simple trade for me. We can't justify any levels. I can't justify any price targets or valuation here that Rivian has. It's just going to come to market where it comes to market. We're going to go long off the opening print, and Bob's your uncle. It's that simple.
All right, let's go to DoorDash, guys. A couple of newsworthy notes on DoorDash. Plug Power on the list as well, down pre-market off of earnings, but big move here for Dash this morning. Earnings were good. They also announced they acquired Finland-based food delivery firm Wolt in an all-stock deal. A lot of people looking at this as their way to enter the European market. So all stock, so I mean, it's pricey, but 17% here for Dash today.
You gotta love when like a big all-stock acquisition gets made and the stock just says, yeah, hold my beer. Dilute, who cares? 17% to the upside. Highs on the daily at 227.5. Pre-market highs at basically the same thing. So I mean, much like Fiverr, it's this and DoorDash that are strong today, and there's probably a couple of other things that are, well, mostly in the small caps, but it's this or Fiverr, and this one is setting up with a great level for you on the daily chart. It's a double top. Does that mean that there can be a potential fade off 227 if it fails to break out at the high? Yeah, I mean, absolutely that setup's going to be there. I'm not really favoring it. There's enough things to look to the short side today off of the open to not maybe think about DoorDash, which is as strong. So, if it breaks 227.50, I think that's a decent break. You're probably risking like $3 or $4 on that trade, and then we'll see what happens. It's just, again, it's better volume than Fiverr, but it's not a ton more. It's certainly a little bit better, but it's not a ridiculous amount of volume where if it was making this breakout, I'd be taking it in the pre-market. We're now closer to the open, 227.50. It's at high today. It's the high on the daily chart. It gives you a little bit of a double top there. And if as all breakout trades, it's going to be a scalp to the even dollar, first even dollar 30s, and then of course, from there you're talking about air, and you sort of play it by ear once you get above that price.
Yeah, we're still, I haven't really looked at too much at DoorDash, but a great report there for DoorDash. And I mean, you're seeing the numbers up there, 17%, an absolutely monstrous beat. We're 35 cents now, 40 cents in the money on Fubo TV. I just put a target down here of 28.50, 28.70. So we're going to get out of some of these if it will get out of it all if it goes down to 28.70. And then the reason why for that is that we're right in here, right at the 50 period and right at the 200 period moving average. They're looking to cross to the upside here. So, you know, 28 and change. I don't know. I was debating pulling this, but we'll see where it goes. Only 4 minutes now until the imbalances come out, and then another 2 after that till we open. So the market battling back off that inflation number, the CPI number there, and hopefully it holds some of these highs. Arun already went over some of those levels, so we'll see about the 16,120 here. If we take that out, I'm looking at this break, man. 16,160, 16,200 to the high side here for the NASDAQ to get back going. Coinbase, Bitcoin, all that helping, I guess, stabilize some of this market. But again, you know, there used to be a correlation between Bitcoin and the market. I don't know if it's really there right now, but I'm only in one position.
You know what I like though? I like the correlation between it and inflation.
Yeah,
that's a great sign. That's what you want to see happen, man. If people are going to talk about this, you know, like whatever, like it's the new gold, well, then let's see it go up when we get a hot inflation print. Like that's what you're talking about for Bitcoin. And you've seen that fall through, like I think for like the third time. It's got to embolden you.
You also don't want it's got to get rid of that. It's the new gold thing, right? Because gold is.
Well, I'm old enough to keep saying it because I'm old. So.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it doesn't.
I know it's way more. It's
like gold doesn't act like anything, and Bitcoin is up like 200% in 6 months. So it's not that much, but it's close.
But there's still people have not made that change. So you know.
Yeah, it might be too late to make that change, anyways. But
it's never
too late. Yeah, I'd get out. I wouldn't. I mean, I've never owned gold, guys. So there you go. Back over to you, Brendo.
5 minutes to go, guys. Let's look at a few little ones here. RNXT, one of the ones on the list this morning. Positive pancreatic cancer related data out from this company this morning. This is a small one though, so just be careful. It's about a 7.5, 8 million share free float on RNXT. A couple of things to be aware of. If you squint hard enough at the daily chart, 950 kind of stands out, which is kind of this area. Above that, there's not much until 12, which is where it topped out this morning in the pre-market here. It's struggling right now at 950, but gets back above 950. No reason why it can't make a bit of a move today, guys.
And another one deep on our list, I already talked about this, Dunkson Financial Holdings. And I'm going to read exactly what it says on our watch list, free watch list for you guys. Announced the transformation of business into a metaverse and blockchain industry focused companies. Now everyone remembers, well, I mean not everyone, but a lot of people are going to remember there was a nice little phase where everyone would just put blockchain next to their name and get a 10 to 20% gap up and then fade after that. And that was a while ago. And if that's going to be the case today, I've taken a couple of shorts in this. I will short the pop if it goes to $2. Even if it breaks 2 and I get out, I'd probably short in front of 225. If it breaks that and goes up, I'd probably short in front of 250. And I don't even want to try to go long this thing today. Maybe it gets the pump. I don't, who knows? These things happen in small caps or in low float names. But you know, just like I felt with Naked Brands yesterday, it's just one of those. I just can't get behind it. Naked Brands at least had that psychological dollar in the army behind it. Here, I'm not really seeing it. I think it could easily go all the way back to 157 where it came from in yesterday's action despite this. And I'm looking for that 930 pop and roll. So if it does get up to $2, you'll probably see me average into this one for sure. With 3 minutes to go, Upstart has caught a bit of a bid. Tesla at 1,005. So I mean, that break is still potentially there. Upstart load. Upstart is catching a bid here. It just got up to 243-ish or so. Still in front of this 245 higher low it put in. 250 could be reasonable. I don't think you want to get caught on the wrong end of this. Shorting a pop without an obvious stop area. 230 does set up as a break, but we're now too far away from that to consider that is happening at the open. I'd look at maybe like 250 for a rollover, and I wouldn't let 250 break on me here. It's just one of those. You know, if it's going to make a rebound here, the gap is entirely too big to be stubborn about.
Okay, we'll take a little long here. I didn't want to do this, but NEO, we put it on our board here to go long through 40.50. There was a great quarter. You know, you're looking for stocks that are up today. It'll be NEO. Well, it's up right now. We'll see where it goes. We're already in the money right now, that 10 cents, but whatever. We're waiting for 40.50 break. It looks like that's just happening. It's the bottom from yesterday is right here, 40.60. They came out and said some pretty decent numbers. I mean, it's on our watch list here today. You know, revenue's much higher. EPS better than expected. Sales 1.34 billion, up 100%. Everything's fine. Guided better. Everything's good with NEO, of course. It's just this is going to be Rivian Day. People are going to be talking about there. I mean, let's go, man. Already, man. We rolled the dice early there. Take that 40-50 break. And I consider rolling the dice when you get in before the market even opens. So right now, 30 cents in the money on this play as it looks like it's starting to march to the upside here. NASDAQ imbalance is out. Let's have a quick look on this. As the NASDAQ starting to head to the downside here, you can see a little bit. Wow, what a big, you know what? I may just take this out here on NIO. I mean, this is already a 30-40 cent winner for us here. Let's just, you know what, let's sit around 40 here. Let's sit around 41 and see if we get out on this for 40 cents quickly. All right, SNDL as a buy. There's been some marijuana stocks talking lately. That's not Bros, that's BRQS. FAMI there, obviously the mushrooms. Palantir is a sell. We talked about that down to 23. That looks like that's going the other way, upside, which is nice. Ford up to 20. That's AT&T. What am I talking about? I was like, Ford's not $24. Up to $20 with only, that's crazy. With only a minute left here, guys. We'll see where we go. But Roblox has a sell. I was surprised there's no more NASDAQ names on here than there is. I don't really see anything here that's anything of significance on the NASDAQ. Was hoping to see some PayPal and whatnot, but we don't see that. Fubo TV also on the New York going to the downside 29.20.
Yeah, I mean, one that I would have faded if it had any bounce in it, not going to happen anymore, is going to be the trade desk. It just dropped to 91.5. If you remember, 90 was that secondary breakout that it had, and that was a resistance in yesterday's action. If there's going to be first support, it's likely to be at that 90 price, and then that range gives you about down to 87.50. That was the sort of 87.50 to 90 range that it put in the afternoon yesterday. So trade has already given it back down 5%. Upstart getting up towards that 10 to 250 number. Got to drop the countdown on you guys because it's hump day, it's Rivian Day. Miss V is on the bell in the North Carolina blue. Dropping it 3, 2, and 1. Can Tesla hold 1,000?
All right, should be exciting. Let's see what Tesla can hold. We almost got out of NEO there as it touched up 91s, 71s, 71s, 91s. Let's go, NEO. Needs to open up. We are long right now at 55, and there goes Fubo TV. Hopefully there it goes, breaking through 29. Woo, not open yet. Breaking through 29 though, Fubo TV. Let's start getting excited here for the day.
Oh my goodness, that's SOPA. Oh, this one we should have got to, and apologies for not getting to SOPA. That's immediately halting to the upside
NVIDIA.
here.
Is it?
I'm on the bid. It's trying to shoot. So, okay, this is one from yesterday.
I meant to get that as
you
well.
remember this was that IPO from yesterday?
Big
when
win
absolutely
for
not.
NEO.
Big rip, guys. It's going to open up in probably 5 or 10 minutes, but Tesla 2000 is coming. 1,000 is coming in. There's no way I should have missed out on that long. I knew SOPA was going to have a chance to do this. I did pay for the short, so we'll watch that as it opens back up. 50 is a big level there.
Geez, guys, like you want to talk about raining down some cash. Look at that NEO call, man. 40.50 on the watch list, on the sticky note today. Wow, unfortunately, we did get out there at 41. Like we said, we weren't sure what was going to happen off the open, but there it is, man. A monster move up for NIO. Congratulations, anybody rolling with me on that one. Fubo TV is 60 cents now in the money, and I don't think it's even open yet either. Palantir, though, the drop has happened. So the dropping right now for Palantir, we'll see. It just opened up down here, 23.25. Yeah, the dropping. We'll see where it goes now. If we can get anything back up here near 40s, we'll get out. But we're going to average into this play. Dropping down to 23 bucks is not great. But wow, should have held on to that NEO. More than $1 now in the money.
Look, it's going to get pretty close. There it is. Tesla breaking 1,000 there. There's a 1,000 mark. I mean, it immediately comes down to like 996. I mean, I just scalped out, and it's already at 990. Well, some of it out. Now we're at 991. It was a break that had to be had. I got the upstart in front of 250, so I'm short at 248.5. That's back down to 245. So, short the pop there, but short the break on Tesla as it's, look, I don't know where the bottom's going to be. If it's a failed break, 991. That could still be a potential fail break. It's only $10 or so, which is not a heck of a lot. Now, 75 is going to stand out, 50 is going to stand out, but there's not a heck of a lot of levels here. And Tesla 1,000 break just sort of stuck out there. You had to be looking at this. SOPA's going to open back up, and I will be on that stock, but you had to look at that Tesla 1,000. I guess the answer to the question, at least for now, was no.
Yep.
But there's still a lot of day left. And if it can hold 990, there's still the chance that this is a failed break. And if it is, and it only went $10, Well, I mean, of course, as I say that, I jinxed it. I'm happy that it's going down because I'm short it, but if it had actually held 990, I really do think it could have been busting back out through 1,000. Gonna hang on to this short, see if we can't get 75s at least.
Oh, man, look at that NEO, man, making me absolutely sick. I don't have that Tesla, but we do have that one. Thank you for the chat there. And then thank you for the dollar win also on Fubo TV. And again, all of these are on our watch list or on my sticky note there. The Fubo short was on there. We talked about it going down to this 28.50 level, so we did get out there, on that short. So that was about $1 there on the short. Thank you to Jude Fernando for bringing that to my attention as well. It's on the sticky note, so that's a good one. But right now, Palantir is breaking. So you can see this is selling to the downside. We are long here twice. You can see my position 16. So this will break 23. It'll go down a little bit further than that. And then we'll just get out of Palantir as it continues to march lower, lower, lower. We'll see if it stops now and goes back to the upside, but there's really no love for this. It just keeps on getting downside here on that name. Whoa, Tesla just came right back upside.
It just came to 998 there and then faded right back into 93. So it's still battling in that $10 range. I can tell you, there is a chance that it could reverse on it. The other one's coming in here is that RNXT. It's up to $10 and then faded. I should have been talking. I should have been trying to get the shares. Once it breaks and tries to get through 10 and fails that 10 break, that's an entry point for me. I just got 71s on this RNXT. Look, do I like going against a pancreatic cancer company? It's a setup play here, and you got to make peace with that kind of a thing here. Look, I hope they obviously succeed. I think that'd be great for the world. If it breaks that high that it just made at 1020, I want to get out. Yeah, which I mean, just immediately does it. So where's my out? Where's my out? Where's my out? RNXT. I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Okay, so we just made a nice little killing there on Tesla. Go ahead. Yeah, you're short?
Oh, it's just a slow fill. That's
okay. So right there, Tesla, man, we took that short 998 and just covered 994. So that's $4 in the money. We still have that trade on board as well. So we'll wait to see where Tesla goes. Palantir, thanks so much. Came back upside, but still, we'll have to wait for it. I mean, this is going to be an ugly position for me, as you could say. Not ugly. I mean, we're out of the money 12 cents. I just took $4 on Tesla, but obviously we have more shares here on PLTR. Man, that NEO trade was a good one. And Fubo TV, also a good one. We took that out a little bit too early, but there we go on that as Tesla bouncing around. We took a $4, there it is, so we're out now, so that's fine. So Tesla's actually, we'll put it on the board, man. Good idea there on the short and good cover, just we didn't get it all out, but we're still up on Tesla, so a good trade there. We'll have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still battling that 1,000 mark and waiting for that open of SOPA, but Brendan's got something for us.
Roblox, guys, first one to pop up here on significant volume, trying to bounce, in fact. Initial move to the downside here for Roblox, but 101, 102 holding, which was support midday yesterday for Roblox.
Okay, we're going
long.
Yeah, we're going to cash out some Palantir here. We just absorbed a monster move to the downside there, and we didn't get hit at all. So there it is. Now go back to the upside. Run, little man, run, as Palantir continues to go to the upside. Let's just get some out. I mean, we did not expect this kind of a move off of that fade, but right now we are hella happy with this play here on Palantir as that's starting to go to the upside. Yes, go, and let's go Roblox too.
Let's go Tesla. So look, remember we talked about if it doesn't hold that 1,000 to the downside, you could get a bit of a jailbreak. Well, I got out when it couldn't hold. I got to the long side here. I'm going to have missed SOPA, but that's fine. Immediately got in front of 1010. I think 1025 certainly can be a nice little target here on the reversal. So look, if it cannot hold below 1,000, you kind of had the feeling it could be a jailbreak. At the same time, upstart, good thing we scalped some out there in front of 244 to take $4 out of it because it broke 250. It's starting to come back. Of course, I mean, there would have been, if I'm not trading Tesla, there would have been an opportunity on SOPA to get that short. When it reopened, it then halts immediately to the downside. So that would have been $4. But look, you're not trading Tesla and Upstart and then worrying about SOPA. If you're trading SOPA, you're trading SOPA. I have no idea what the company's name is. Sorry.
Guys, we're going to be 4 for 4 here, and they're all monsters, guys. Fubo TV is $1 in the money. NEO now is $1.50 in the money. Palantir was actually, this is not a monster. It stopped going, but we were able to get some out there for profit. So we'll see if it still ticks down. It'll be a loser, but thank God we were able to get those out there. Our average price, remember, was $23.16. So, we did pretty good there. It could have been a lot worse, so shouldn't say it was a monster there. Let's check out on Ford. Ford, of course, does have that 10% of Rivian, which is going to be coming to market. We'll give you that update as we get closer and closer on that. Yeah, let's go Tesla, man. We talked about that bounce off 1,000. What a great move for Tesla there. We took $40 on that the other day. Hopefully you could do the same right now on that. AMD down 2.5% on that. And yeah, just looking to see what's moving. Maybe some Fisker here. AMD getting clocked a little bit. Down today, down 3%.
Brennan?
Posh, guys, big mover on earnings as well. It was down significantly, just taking out that pre-market high, 17.5 on a huge volume spike. So Posh trying to get back to the upside.
I forgot about Poshmark. I mean, there was other things that were ridiculously weak in the market. Of course, Posh is going to be one of them. But I want to talk PayPal just quickly here. It bounces twice off of 203 and is trying to make a bit of a comeback. Yeah, exactly. There's so many things we missed. So forget about 200. You're looking at 203 as the current support level. That gives you maybe 2 cracks at it into that long side. And then Upstart, by the way, I should have reversed Upstart at 250. I got out of that one, reversed Tesla because that was on my mind if 1,000 couldn't hold to the downside. But Upstart at 250 probably was worth it. That's now up $10. So your chance to buy the dip on Upstart has possibly come. Well, I don't want to say come and gone because there's a lot of day left here. But it went a fantastic start to the morning. That DXF, which I'm still in by the way, never gave too much of a chance to short more shares. If it does pop any higher, I'm still looking to fade this one and fade it over and over and over again.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Fade means sell.
You ain't wrong about the start to this morning, guys. Wow. I mean, I just wish we would have held on. Obviously, we could always wish, but it doesn't matter to this NIO trade as that's just rocking right now to the upside here. NIO just continues to go. I'm looking at that 42 level here, maybe a stopping area, but yeah, we were not expecting this kind of a move up here today, which we should have been because you know what, man? I mean, it's Rivian day, and so a lot of these stocks could be going to the upside as there's just some excitement. I was almost thinking, yeah, so this will happen to Fisker. What I was thinking is what I was going to say is that there could be some money coming out of EV names today because they're getting ready to buy the Rivian IPO and they don't want to be, too long, whatever. They have to rebalance their EV spots. So I was expecting that, which is why you probably got that flush down a little bit there on Tesla and then now back up. There goes Roblox not getting any love. I don't know. That's up to 102 and back down that 6% now. So really no bump here for Roblox. Sorry, let's go. That's a new, we did that yesterday.
Over and over again on Roblox.
100 breaks. You got to watch out for that on Roblox here. Breaking back down through 100. We've already done it once. We could do that again here off of another 7% down. No surprise there with that CPI data and being up 40+% yesterday. We kind of expected this for Roblox. So maybe worth a dip buy here as it's trying to defend that 100 level.
And then as fast as it comes up, Coinbase right back testing that 320 level. Like that's crazy. So it's immediately coming back into 320. Now I like this one. I think I said in the chat to you guys, I like this one in front of 319 to 320. Those are these levels in the pre-market. We're already seeing it after getting to 338 pull back in. So, I like the buy at that price. Obviously, I missed it the first time. Not going to miss out on it the second time. I'm going to scalp some out if I can get it in front of 324, 325, and then see if we can let the rest ride here. So Coinbase, thankfully, we're able to catch it. Every now and then you get a price that you wanted earlier, a little bit later on in the day. Some of that's luck, but it's only luck if it's a winner the second time through. A lot of times the first time you get that price is likely the best. I'm going to consider if we can break 1030 again on Tesla, I'm going to look to trail this one somewhere around that 25 mark. But Coinbase, Tesla to the long side, DXF short all day. Well, I can't say all day every day because it's probably only 2 day, and then everyone's going to forget about that stock.
What's up, Brendo?
Worth a note here, the Rivian CEO making some comments currently. They're looking at annual production capacity of at least 1 million vehicles before 2030. So my window's still loading, but that comment up there, guys, from the Rivian CEO.
Wow, that's a good target there, 1 million. I mean, that's why we just tried Tesla short there, didn't work. It goes back to the upside. I mean, it's not going to stop here. Tesla probably just going to continue its march higher and higher and higher right now as it just continues to just murder that $1,000 level. That was a great reverse back in and missed that one, man. Wish we would have had that. That's a great trade there for Neil, has it on board. I don't know. There's a lot of love going back into Tesla, not much else. So that's the one thing, like Neo's going. We've already talked about that. Some of these other names, Palantir's going to the downside.
The other one.
What about Upstart?
No, I was going to say Lucid. Lucid Motors was the other one that I anticipated that Lucid could have some selling in it today. Especially, this might matter a little bit more when we get closer to the Rivian Open, but Lucid's making a bit of a bounce. I would expect more than the others for Lucid to have some sellers. If you get those upsized, like runs up in the indicative price, and then we get a run on Rivian, I think Lucid could find some selling. But it is trying to break out, just like Tesla is. At this point, I put the trail to that 25 mark. And then all I'm thinking about is 1050, 1060, right? Like that's where the top was yesterday. I'd be utterly shocked if we broke through that level. And I can't sit here and say I'd be shocked if we broke that level and not get out in front of it. So, if we hold a 1040 break, I might move my trail up. If we get to 1050, I'm definitely wanting to cover around that price. So it's a good run. Again, it's easier to think about a failed breakout if you are in the other direction. And while all that was happening, I probably missed a chance to scalp that Coinbase out. I got this order in late in front of 324, and it's now holding near the bottom. So I got to check on spot price to see what's going on there. But I mean, Bitcoin's holding up relatively. Got to 69. It's holding 68 and change. And Coinbase, yeah, back down 10%. So it had made a bit of a bounce. It was looking fantastic, and then it got crushed right back into that 320 level. I picked it up at 21s. I might have to consider just like scalping $1.50, given how weak it's certainly looking on this rebound for now.
So a break here on Upstart of 253. I think we'll take it to the short side. It had a fail up here. It doesn't mean we're going to hold it for that long. But if you do break down below here, 253, which is that last bottom of that last 1 minute. There we go. We're short right now. So that was that last bottom of that candle there. It tried to get back up. So I think we can probably close this if it takes above 257. So right now we'll hold the short. We'll see if Upstart wants to retrace back to the downside right here. So a short on UPST. Let's just see if we can somehow cash in on this one. Down to 249 gives us, roughly the same kind of risk profile, but I'm going to take this out if we do retrace back up to 257, 258 or so, which could happen right now. I mean, who knows where that's going. We've been getting out some of our Palantir here as it's been a good one for us. We're flat on the stock here today as we haven't made the best decisions on Palantir, but at the same time, these are all getting out for flat. It does break down. We almost got ticked out again.
Oh, wow.
So we feel kind of lucky to get back in, but what's up now?
Well, not up. What's down?
What's down, I guess?
Affirm is down 11%. Thank you guys for pointing this out. Like, obviously, I'm focused on Coinbase, which I can ring the register for. I did take some profit out of that one.
Coinbase or Tesla?
I've taken some out of Tesla. I've taken some out of Coinbase finally.
Right.
But Affirm, double bottom, 139, about to get taken. What goes up sometime must come down. There is, and I was saying this to Brennan, there is, oh my gosh, I forget the name of the company, but there's a UK buy now, pay later that's coming to the US market that in some ways, I own shares of Affirm. In some ways, they have a better model. We'll get into that later, but yeah, certainly that's going to be interesting. Competition heating up in that space. Brendo?
ACB, guys, we talked about it. Kind of lost in the shuffle here this morning. Aurora Cannabis reporting aftermarket yesterday, trying to bounce. Just broke pre-market highs there. They reported a loss, but it was kind of in line with expectations. So some positivity here for ACB.
It's like something like Zilch or like something along those lines. I'm still thinking about what that company might be. Anyways, it'll come to me in a quick second. I got to start thinking about what to do with this Tesla position as it comes back up to test this double top, right? So if we break out here, this is 1,038. At that point, you get through 40, and I'm going to want to tighten up that trail to maybe 35. If we cannot break this, which it looks like we're breaking right now, if we couldn't break it, then I can talk about hypotheticals. I probably would have gotten out at 30, but if we can sustain this to 1040, we're going to get very close to that target, and then start thinking about getting out in front of that 1,050 mark. At some point, I'm taking a profit because this is crazy. I don't think we're going past 60. If I don't think we're going past 60, and I got to get out of this one, ring the register on Tesla, which I'm doing right here in front of 50s. It'll oddly be around like a 40-buck winner.
Good one.
It was a flush down the toilet, and I actually was holding on to that short and could have taken like $10 on the short, but I wanted that to go to 75. But the whole time, like if it's a failed break, you've got to be able to reverse. As good a reverse probably would have been, if you think about dollar for dollar, it's as good a reverse if you took Upstart because it's a quarter of the price. So that $10 is the same as the $40. It's exactly the same thing. So trade either one that you're comfortable with. I'm banking out of this. If it gets to 1060 and it fails at that price, I got to think about shorting Tesla, as crazy as that sounds. Oh my goodness. I probably might have paid for the shorts in SOPA and wasted the money because there's been multiple opportunities to short this thing. There's just no way with the focus on these bigger movers that I was going to get into that SOPA, but it's now back onto my radar, and we haven't even talked about Hertz or Alibaba apparently on the move here, so lots still happening.
We haven't even looked at Hertz. Good call on that one. Yeah, Palantir, man, we'll ring it now because finally it's back now. So it's rocking 30 cents in the money. Good trade for me today on that one. So we've taken one high flyer. We took profit on Tesla, but Upstart, we tried that break. It never went for us. I think that was worth it, but we lose that $5 or so on that one. So now it's coming back in. We should have maybe shorted it off that 261 there, but the market's flying right now. Like the market's a nice move to the upside. The only thing, I'm not mad that we got out of our FUBO, even though this happened. I mean, there's 29.60 short, man. And again, if you're talking about our sticky note, we talked about a whole bunch of things on this note, right, today. And thank you for watching it. But Tesla, 1,000 long. Okay, that worked out good. We talked about Coinbase down to 310. That didn't happen, but it only went there. NEO, good. Go long, 40.50. Where's that at right now? Fubo, go short 30, right? Where's that at right now? That's $2 in the money. So some big wins today. The sticky note wins one more time. And someone that's always winning is Miss V over there at the big screen.
Hey Sean, recent earnings reporter GoCo reaped to the upside at the open and already have been halted. Could you take a look at GoCo for us?
GoCo.
Oh, okay. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know much about GoCo. We're just looking at Fubo there on that dip to 27. I can't believe we were short 30 bucks, man. That goes to 27. That's a 10% mover right there alone just on Fubo. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's a 10% move on Fubo when you're looking at, like, you know, an upstart. 10% move on that is 30 bucks. A 10% move, like you almost got there on Tesla, is
selling only matters if you get back in.
Exactly. So you got to watch out for all these plays here. Why is Tesla still going?
No, I'm talking about plug power because I was like,
power.
yeah, I rang the register on plug and Fubo, but hey, plug is right back to 41, where I think it has resistance on the daily. That's why we sold it in the first place, and it's recovering after that. Fubo's not, so we got to think about a place to get back into those. Brendo.
Big move here past couple of days, guys, on the EV strength. This EV Go back to the upside today after a bit of a down day. 14 up to 15.5 here. Huge volume again for EV Go. Also, RNXT, that little one I mentioned just before the open, on halt alert at this point. Again, 7 million on the float on that one, guys.
Wow. Oh, up. Yeah, there goes PayPal.
Yeah,
we had that defending.
That's another one.
God
that's
damn
another
it.
one.
Man, there's so many things to miss right now. But I was just focused right now on, we just tried to get out at 50 there on Palantir. We missed that one, so we'll have to go back on that. AMD to 145. I mean, this may be overdone as well. Tesla with the rock to the upside right here, and I think AMD could probably do the same thing. Obviously not like Tesla, but you have this 145.60 area. If we could break that, that's kind of this pre-market high. And so it's, you know, the NASDAQ, a nice move straight to the upside. So you got to sort of try to catch some of this maybe on a downside move to enjoy this. But I'm looking at this break right now, 145.60 on AMD. That could be something there for that place. So that's what I'm looking at right now.
So I'm going to hit the, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm on the Coinbase chart. So the gates of hell is about DXF, if you can't guess. But Coinbase, I'm ringing the register. It broke through VWAP. But this is, when it pulled back from 338, you definitely consolidated at 330 and then flushed into that 320 price. The second time through, I'm never going to like it the second time as much as I would have liked the 320 if we got it the first time. So I'm ringing the Reggie here. We're going to take $6.50 out of it and then walk away on the second half of that trade. I did get out a little bit early on the first half of the trade because of how weak it looked at the time. But once it broke back out, we're going to hold for a bit of an extension there. So the only thing I'm left in is DXF, which, look, and here's the thing. I get it. People want to, like, it's going to be a gap. It's a gapper. You had that news story. A lot of retail came in and immediately started selling into this one. It did find consolidation. I know people want to try to find bottoms on names like this, but if you're not surprised that DXF, that's now launching into crypto and the meta, whatever, and the metaverse, if you're not surprised that this thing is going back down to 157 where it closed yesterday, I don't know what market you're watching, but it feels like it's like peak nonsensical that this thing would have caught a bid. It actually did try at the open. It didn't go far enough for a reload, but I'm all out when it gets to 157. I'm not sure it makes a lower low, but either way, it's now with the low of the day. This is the last thing I have on. And Tesla, it's tested that 1060 several times. I should have held to 1060. I ended up covering in front of 1050 because 1050 is 50. But it goes to 1058, and there's your reversal. So I probably should have had that short. Brendo.
Just checking out Krispy Kreme here. Yeah, big move today, guys. Looks like earnings were better than expected. For DNUT, up 13%. Look at the volume behind this as well. Back to 15, which is some serious levels over here for DNUT.
You know, I was also looking at Ford here as well, as that's starting to go right now, up that 0.62%. So that's a nice little play here, obviously on the Rivian IPO, as that gets sort of upsized pricing right now. You could see Ford starting to go. Maybe if we have some sort of a price on that Rivian, we'll give that to you when it comes through. But for right now, looking like a nice move upside for Ford. So they have that. I think it's 10% or 12% of Rivian, something like that. And then of course Amazon has a stake in it as well. So there's lots happening right there. So that's what we're looking at as Ford just looking to take out some of these recent highs, man. I mean, is this the most recent high? $20.30 here on Ford. How high did we get recently? We touched about 2089 there. We could check on, let's check a 20-minute chart here on Ford. We've been loving Ford. Yeah, that was yesterday off the open. It was probably pre-market there. That got as high as 20 there. We'll see about a break of even this high right now today. I think we should probably take this trade as that Rivian makes sense to me. What about a 2030 break? What's the high there? 2035? Okay, so we take out 2035. We're going to continue along here on Ford. Does that make some sense? We've been emptying out, obviously, as well on Palantir. There's a seller right now. I'm not worried about that. But on Palantir, let's go chart, load up. There's a nice move up. So this has been a big win for me today. We don't have the monster on Tesla, and I do have a big, not a big hit, but we tried to short Upstart. We should have gone long on Upstart. As right now, that was down 25%. Yeah, wow. Now back to 14%. So a good move back on Upstart. Yeah, that's making some nice winners back there on the upside, guys.
Sometimes, like, I'm telling you, stink bid's the only way to get into these when they pull back hard, because I'm looking at 280 as a key level potentially just from yesterday's action in the aftermarket. So we got a super chat, and I want to thank you guys. Thank you, R-Dub. SOXS, look, I don't really know anything about the company, but you're talking about this off of its lows for the last couple of days. I'll tell you, one of the things that you can start considering is when you look at something on a bottom, people use the word accumulation. That's something you'll hear a lot when something makes a low like this. As it broke this low and got down to $4 and bounced, you guys can't see. If I do this, you can. You're going to see you get this accumulation of shares, right? On the way down, breaking higher volume all the way through for multiple days into the up day. So a lot of times that's a good signal for bottom. Again, caveat, I know absolutely nothing about this company. I don't even know the name of the company. I'm just looking at it from here and saying your bottom is supported in consolidation by increasing volume. Your risk is to $4. This is what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. It just pulled back harshly, trying to break out. But hey, it wasn't a breakout till it got past 55 anyways. Your support's clear at $4. That's about 10% depending on where you take it. And you have increasing volume, which is usually a pretty good base. So technically, it's not a bad risk to reward. I used to do this with penny stocks when I started out trading. Day trading. It's not a bad risk to reward, but the caveat, I know nothing about the company, any potential catalyst that's happened recently. If there was already a catalyst that's happened, well, then that could change the litmus a heck of a lot.
Okay, so Microsoft, new position. We just took it there, 331.40. Just took it out 75, so we take that 30 cents. Why? On half of it, because we were going to use 331 as our out, just in case things went sour there. So we'll take the same profit on that there as we would have taken on a loss. So there it is, half out. Now we can let the rest ride like this. I mean, big drop for Microsoft, to be honest with you. I mean, we're not expecting that off the NASDAQ. I don't really see the NASDAQ going down here, but yet I saw Microsoft go down. So we'll go back into, one of our favorite stocks. Of course, this looks shitty on a 20-period chart right now because of all these wicks. So unfortunately, I can't really show that to you. But there we go. Right now, we're 50 cents in the money on this name as well. Look, sometimes you just go back to the well, man. Trade the best names for you. This is a 60-cent win now for Microsoft. So we might have this at the bottom. What's up, Brendan?
Another big bouncer here. Vroom, guys. VRM, another one that they reported a loss, but revenue forecast way better than expected. So a big bounce off 17.5, right back to 19 here for VRM.
Yeah, and breaking that high, Fiverr, by the way, breaks the high, put it on the top at 195, flushed to a 175. Ugh. And then back through the high of the day. Like, I mean, if you're not talking, like, if that's not a power move, I don't know what the heck a power move is in this market, but that's absolutely insane. I just picked up, like, I missed a break, but I'm going to catch it on the way back in. I just want to give this back to 190, even maybe get a reload at 191, 192. That is a wipeout bottom and a hold my beer breakout top on Fiverr there. On the other end of the spectrum, well, I guess technically it's not really the other end of the spectrum because DoorDash is still, last time I checked, it's still up 14%. It does also put out a wipeout bottom at 209, but it hasn't really broken back up yet. So you're still looking at that same all-time high on the daily chart going to be in play for DoorDash, just not nearly as strong as Fiverr here. Like you don't see a lot of charts that are going to look like that. It just $20 down, recover, break out the high. Okay, why not? Strong.
I think that's like Tesla's, right? I mean, Tesla broke out the high, went down.
Only this was already up like 20%.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Okay, guys, so there's Microsoft, man. We'll spin the money because that's $1 now in the money. We just gave that to you live, and it just ripped up there. So, again, we take out half, and now we're right back into this spot, right back up to VWAP. I mean, if the market continues to go upside, we have Microsoft by the you-know-what here, as it's just going up, 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 and away. We always scalp out a little bit. When we get that 50 cents right away, we're going to take that. So, but but right now back up. A nice little trade here up to $1.20 on Softy. Looking at this level right here, 332.75. So hopefully that's a level that can come in. We may just take this out right now anyways on Microsoft. And Palantir right now, still another move to the upside, and that's all that we're looking at. You know, you don't have to be right a lot. You just have to be right enough. And here we go on Microsoft to the upside. One wrong trade for me today, Upstart. Everything else merking. 332.50 there, and a nice move back for the NASDAQ. So maybe we'll just get this out. $1 in the money on Microsoft. No real ideas here if it falls where we're going to get out, but we can hold this back to 332 at least if we want to. But I think it's worth probably taking a little bit out as Palantir trying to break that 23.50 right now.
So there is something which is even stronger than anything I've looked at today, and it is Unity Software. So I don't know, we were talking about this one with regards to Meta. Look at this 160 break, now 188 on Unity Software. This is what the daily chart looks like. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's absolutely gone. So fresh level. I mean, 190 tops. Will I short 200 if it gets there? Yeah, I mean, come on, like 200 is 200, but you know, obviously a big time power move. I talked about a dip at 191 on Fiverr. I'm going to go ahead and take that one. The last dip was to 175. If it can hold these prices, I think it could still go. Upstart, I'm starting to get into the train of the mode of thinking that this could be a bit of a fade. Now, there was this like 260-ish area, and I'm looking at 280. This is why I said 280. It's just a previous high on Upstart. It doesn't look like it's getting there on this. Whoops. It doesn't look like it's getting there. Just stalled at 270 even. I do still feel like 280 is the best level for potential resistance point, and I'm likely to take it if it gets there. But first things first, if it's going to hold this higher low with a failed break at 270, then I might get into a short trade in Upstart for the first time. Tesla about to test 1,060 again. So it tried once, it's now trying a second time.
Yeah, we'll put the money on the board here for Microsoft, but we should have waited for VWAP there, man. We got out at 50 right there, so that's a 331.40, 45, whatever, out 332.50. So $1 in the money on Microsoft there. We should have held that, just like we probably should have held our NEO all the way up to 42. But now that just came right back in. So NEO just got crushed back down there. Not really sure why that happened, but it still did. We don't have to worry why, because when it does happen, it happens. So right there, NEO, wow, right back down in. So this might be something to look at. I don't know why that just happened there on NIO. Oh man, come on, Microsoft, honestly. Oh, we had that one, and we talked about that we had it, and we still didn't. Damn it, that's a mistake on me, man. We should have held that Microsoft still to the upside, but thank God we're still holding on to some Palantir as that's right back to the upside there. That was a bloodbath early, and then we did take some Ford. We actually were sloppy there. We wanted to take 35s, and we forgot about it, so we punched some 40s, and now we'll wait to see where this goes from here. But Ford will average back into the downside. I like this break here on Rivian Day for Ford, and yeah, wow, just should have held some of these, man. Fubo TV to the downside as well. Tesla, we've talked about that. NEO's come back in, and then that Softy, that would be a big hit, or a big win, but we'll see where it goes from here. Brendan now over at the big screen. Can't keep him waiting. Nope. Let's see what's happening now.
A bit of a bounce, guys. We'll show you the Dow, the first one here to go green on the day. So back to positive for the Dow, the S&P trying. You can see the NASDAQ still kind of leading as far as decliners, 0.3, 0.23 for the composite, and the 100 overall, though, as we said, well off the lows for all three. The Russell, about 0.25% to the downside still. A little bit more negative. It's been very strong the past couple of days, so pullback possibly here for small caps. A few things we were discussing in the pre-market if you joined us. What a move for Plug. Straight to the upside. This was 38 in the pre-market, held that right off the open. We're up to 41.5 for Plug off of earnings, despite a bit of an iffy quarter for Plug Power. And DoorDash, yeah, we did get a flush, but also trying to test some pre-market levels here for DoorDash, guys. Back over to you.
So this RNXT, which by the way, I took a shot. This is my negative stock for the day because I took that shot at 970. It broke that 10. It just took out the pre-market, the pre-market highs here, and then failed, broke at 12 even. Again, it failed breaking an even dollar like that through the pre-market high, consolidation lower. That's almost always going to be a bit of a setup for me. I did scalp 190. Well, I'll do this because I scalped that 191 bounce on Fiverr and then took some out in front of the high of the day. Now we're going to hold the rest for the breakout. But if I see a failed break like this, I'm going to take a shot at. And this is definitely bullish, by the way, RNXT. And I will not say a negative thing about anyone trying to cure pancreatic cancer. But for that setup, if it takes out 12 again, it's obviously going to be wrong. But I'm going to want to short in front of it. Ideally, 25 to 50s is a better entry than 11.11. So I'm going to have to wait for a little bit of a pop, or I'm going to miss this train altogether.
Yeah, Tesla's right back to the upside there. Lucid down 3.5% right now. Upstart Nvidia. Okay, so I mean, there's definitely some stocks moving around here. That's for sure. We took out a little bit of Ford there at 45 or 44 there on that move up from a long 40. That's only 20%. And again, you know, trade your own thing. I'm going to wait for 2050 if that comes through. I don't think that actually happened up to 53. I think that's a mistake because we're waiting there for it. So we'll wait on that one, guys, as we're looking around for more things to do. PayPal, man, that was on our board there again at 201 or 200 there. Good move back to 208, but at the same time, I mean, it's not, you know, right now it's not doing much. We can watch out for this from yesterday. We talked about some of those calls that we made yesterday. I don't think it's going to be on here. No, we just got positive on this bump up in the afternoon. We got out at 204.30 or something like that yesterday afternoon, and we were really happy with it as it ripped. Actually, no, it was higher than that. It was this move up. And that's where, yeah, Daryl got out at 205.30. I think I got out at this 205 area-ish right there. But now PayPal comes back in, and look at these levels. 204 right there, you know, tried to hold yesterday afternoon before breaking this morning and then retesting some of those bottoms. My bid is still there. I mean, I don't have it. It's at 201.50. We got as low as 202.30 before ripping to the upside. I think we can try to defend this area, 206. So that's where we're at right now, 206 and change. Let's take a risk here on PayPal. I think it's worth starting a little position right now on PayPal and see if it has the legs to go back to the upside. I'm sick with myself with Microsoft, but that's okay. It's come back in a little bit now, so maybe we should have faded it. Yeah, it's fine. No, just I was thinking about holding, and I should have. And then we've been cleaning out of that Palantir, and there we go. We just got into Ford. That's what just kicked in. So Ford, we get a little piece out. Now it's come back in here. So let's watch out. We're still waiting. If Brendan, if you hear anything, obviously he's on that tip. So if Rivian pricing ever comes out for that one, I don't want it to be lower.
I'm seeing nothing for updates. It's a little bit early. It's only 10 o'clock. So I kind of feel like maybe it gets closer to 10:30. We'll see something. By the way, I got into that RNXT. I waited for it to test 50s. I got 45 to the short side. Fiverr just made another push to 197. So I'm going to take a little bit more out now. Hold for 200. Brendo.
Yeah, it's interesting on Rivian, guys. We don't even, on our system, have anything yet. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Little de-spacker today. BLBX, first day trading as Black Box Stocks Incorporated. Big move down. It's a software company, analytics firm. Bounced off 5 there. Big volume spike here for BLBX.
40.80.
Of course, right? I mean, so I'll get to Fiverr in just a quick second here because I know like twice I've told you guys without showing you the chart. It's a visual show. I got to do better. 195 break. It doesn't follow through. I talked about getting long. Forget about VWAP in front of 190. I got 191. Scalps them out in front of the previous high. Scalps them out in front of that high of the day. And now shooting for 200. If Fiverr gets to 200, it might be a bit of a short. While that was happening, this is what happened on Tesla. Eventually breaks that 1,060. And here's the thing, and I talk about this often, I think it's a good rule to have. If you have a level that you like and you missed a trade, and in Tesla, this is almost always true with the short, and I'm not falling for it anymore, because what happened at 1,000, the first time it got to 1,000, if you had the short, it was good, and the second time it ran you over, and I still took it the second time, thinking just as confidently. This is what happens with that 1060 level. I didn't short it when it got there. The first time, it gave you 20 bucks. Now it comes through and it just churns right through that level. So I wish I'd held on. Obviously, that's an easy thing to be able to say, hindsight being 20/20, but Tesla off to the races. And you know what? Like I said it with Plug, and that it's already true with Tesla. If it gets back to 1,200, it's like it doesn't. It only matters if you sell something and then it goes down after. That only ever matters if you get back into it, right? So I mean, it doesn't really make a difference in the long run if you don't actually buy back into the shares. If I end up buying at the same price that I sold them, then obviously you don't actually gain anything. If anything, you just lose because you sweated thinking about where to get back in.
That's right. Yeah, and that's
what you do lose because you waste time thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Time is money. 40.80. We break through there. We'll go long on NEO. I think it just dropped here. Not really sure why. We talked about that. They had earnings. I like the call. We were long early, man. We got out a little bit too early for that. We were really happy taking 50 cents on that play because we just weren't sure. Tesla was tanking, so on and so forth. So I don't know if some money came out of Tesla and into NEO there. I don't know because Tesla went almost reversed completely on that move, and then so did NEO all the way back to the downside. So let's just play the earnings here and think that they're a little bit better than we think, and continue with this name. There it is. So there's the break. So we'll take a long now on NEO. We got punched at 85 there. So yeah, I guess that was a little bit of slippage. Everyone looking at the same levels, and that can happen to you. So here we go back to the upside now. We'll slip out a little bit at 41 and then see if we can't catch some view up at 41.20. What's up, Brendo?
Just seeing on that Microsoft trade, Sean, Facebook saying their work app, Workplace, now integrates with Microsoft Team. So some Facebook, Microsoft teaming up there. KNDI, another one that just popped up on volume, held yesterday's low. Big volume spike to 450 there. They just launched this thing. Remember Candy was the one with that really weird looking kind of smiley face electric car? So the K32 luxury off-road electric UTV is their latest. That right there for Candy guy.
But does it talk to you like Kit? That's what I want.
Does it make you dandy?
This
I mean, there's a lot
RN
of questions we have.
Yeah, I mean, Candy makes you dandy. RNXT, I had just gotten some shares out at 11 for 50-cent win, and then it just bounces back up, breaks 12 even. I keystroked out of my long reverse, but you know what? It actually came close to looking like it was going to halt and resisted the halt, so I probably would have gotten out anyways. If it breaks the top now, you're looking at a clean 1250. If it halts to the upside, congratulations to anyone holding it. I think it's worth it for that first halt up. To maybe take that entry point on the halt. I wouldn't do it the second time through, but 1250 looks like a bit of a failed break. I'll walk away from this one and then wait for either a top break, another fail at 1250, or a halt. Those are the only three ways that I want to trade this stock. And there's nothing on Rivian that I can see. Like, we haven't even gotten an indicative price. I'll keep checking, but obviously it's still relatively early. Got to trade what's moving, and that's not doing anything for you, just sitting there staring and waiting for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not, I'm trying to trade Ford against that Rivian position. So hopefully, Ford has that 12% stake in Rivian. So as that keeps going up priced, it's only natural that this means that Ford goes up, right? So I think as long as my understanding of how ownership works, this should be good for Ford. So, the higher the price goes up for Rivian right now, and again, we don't have an indicative price, so I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to assume that it's going to be upside. So we're going to try to hold on to as many Ford shares as we can until something crazy happens there. Okay, so there's a nice little win one more time, and all we're doing is stacking up the cash one more time here today. So there it is. I mean, out again. We don't have a red. Do we have a red day in November? No, we don't in November. We had one in October. But there we go. I forget what day that was. But there we go to the upside there. $41. Just took that out. So we told you we get out. We like getting out at even dollars. So we only got out of a third. We're going to go a third. If we can get back up here, like I said, we'll take another third out at VWAP, which is a 41.15 or so. We'll take that out, and then we'll see if we can't get that home run fill on the upside if and when it starts to break up. I'm losing patience with Palantir. So we just took another piece out at 45. Very, very light now. We have about 15% of our original position left. So, we always talk candidly, and that's what I have on. If it breaks back down below here, we'll get out of another piece, and then we'll wait to see what happens. A possible reload back down here at 23. And again, there's 23, right? And if you're going to look at our sticky note again every day, I think you should. There's some good ideas. Tesla long 1000s on there. NIO off the open break of 40.50. I mean, how good is that? How good was that? That Fubo short at 30. What's up to Jude Fernando? I mean, she has that trade, and we talked about that as well. PayPal looking great off 200. We don't have it, but right there in the corner is Palantir 23. So, I mean, if you're going to look at Palantir 23 and make that as your only trade today, which basically I did, my average price was 16 when it came all the way down. We just ticked out at 51 there. So good trade so far on Palantir. We're up on that name. I wish I was up a hell of a lot more because I thought we should be taking out the highs, but that didn't happen yet for Palantir, so we'll wait for that to come through. And then we're going to put our offer on NIO. And then look, man, it's working out right now, so that was, at least for now, a good idea as Ford continues to make a move to the upside. Our next out's going to be 49, man. We reloaded this one. I believe in this trade, so let's see how far it goes from here.
Yeah, and I'll take my second foray into Upstart. Like, I shorted off at 250, it broke 250. I like 280 better, and I'm sort of with you, Jude. It's just, for me to take it off of the 270, it had a failed break, which I kind of like the failed break, and then a retest of that level. So if it puts in a new high, I'm out. If it gets down to 60s and VWAP, then am I going to take some out? Yeah, of course. I'm going to play this the same way I always would. I mean, that high right now is 270.88. So, I mean, obviously, I'm going to round that one up because that's what I do. I like rounding it up. So if it breaks 71s, I think I'm out of this trade. You risk $3, $3 or $4. I mean, if it goes to 60, you're taking some out there for 5 or 6. So I like the risk to reward on it. I still do think 280 is a better level on the daily chart, and I would revisit the trade if it got there. Brendo.
So we have the first indication on our system, guys. Again, this is just on our system. You guys control this too, but it's tough to see there. 120 on Rivian versus, remember, 78 was the pricing aftermarket yesterday. 120 right now on our system.
Come on, son.
Oh wow. Okay.
Come on,
I don't know. I don't know if I'll take that opening print. I mean, that's a spicy meatball right there on Rivian.
I was thinking up to 100. Like, yeah, I was probably going to take it up to 100.
I mean, I'm still going to take it, but okay, well, not as many shares. We'll dial it down, but there goes Ford, man. I mean, I'm really proud of this one, to be honest with you guys. We reloaded this. We talked about why, and I think, not only, I mean, Neil and I will call out price levels and things like that, that we like that Neo that's rocking, like Palantir that's rocking, but I think this is a really good one. This makes a lot of sense to me. The more upsides that gets, man, the better this is going to be for Ford. So we cleaning some out, and I think this is going to be a good call, and I think it's nice when it makes sense. So there goes Ford.
Well,
to the
Ford
upside.
makes sense. Yes, the long and Ford makes sense. I mean, 120. I'm not going to say 120 makes sense.
No.
Yeah.
I was saying.
And the sympathy plays are basically all you can do. Because here's the other thing. Like, if that 120, I mean, not saying God forbid, but like somehow you're looking at 125 and then 130.
Yeah.
Then that the only way to actually make money off of that is to trade for me, unless you want to trade Amazon, which I don't think it's a smaller drop in the bucket for Amazon. That's why Ford makes the most sense to me there. But wow, I'm not completely speechless because obviously I'm still talking, but I'm kind of speechless about that. At 120, I'm very shocked. The hypotheticals I was saying was all below $100 in my mind. That's what I was playing out. But hey, this is where we're at. I'm in that up there, like I said. If it gets down to about like 62, 63, I'll take the first leg out. That's close enough to 1-to-1. And then I want the rest out close to VWAP here. So I've taken a second short. The first one was a small success. The second half stopped out. Tesla is still running if you're watching this.
Is it
still
running?
Look, if you're gonna tell me that Rivian's gonna open up at 120, the valuation on Tesla doesn't look as ridiculous now, does it? If Rivian's gonna be at 120, because at 74 it was what, 60-something
Well, Rivian
billion.
said they're going to do 1 million cars. I mean, what does Tesla do every year?
Yeah, but I mean, you're now talking about 100 billion valuation for Rivian. 100 billion, is that right? At 120? Something like that, close. Maybe more.
Maybe more, yeah. But I mean, that still would be a tenth of
It's
Tesla.
over. Yeah, but I know. But Tesla's out there and they're the leader. Look, I'm just saying it's a little bit less ridiculous. That's all. Just.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Okay.
we both want to support Tesla as much as we can, but yeah, 120, 54% above its IPO price. So that's great news for everybody there. And like I said, we'll still continue to hold our Ford and think that that's going to be a good play. Let's check out Lucid quickly here as Lucid goes back to green on that valuation. It looks like there as well. Yeah, look at that, bang, right there. So as soon as that indicative price came out, man, Lucid takes off. Let's check out Fisker as well. That's probably going to the upside here. Yeah, exactly. So all of these names, including the name that we have, Ford, on board right now, making moves to the upside. And what about NIO? Hells to
everything in the space is gone.
Money. I mean, Neo today. I mean, how on fire are we? I mean, are these calls today have just been? I mean, I hope you guys are making money as well. That's the most important thing. What's up, Brendo?
I wonder if that was just an early average here, guys. The first public one we'll show you here, not on our system, but now 110. So it comes out publicly instantly down to 110. So again, 78 pricing for Rivian.
Okay, well, I mean, that makes more sense to me because, yeah, okay. We'll see what happens if it comes down. But here's the other thing. That's so high that if it comes down and then makes like a floor that above 100, that's still positive momentum. SOPA, which I'm not ignoring, but I'm ignoring, has now finally halted to the upside again. So somehow this thing continues to ride. You don't have to trade this. It's very, very dangerous. Of course, we said all those caveats. But there was a high on this thing at 55 yesterday. It's got a couple of lower highs here, just around 50 to 52. That I want to, if it opens to the upside and fails at the highs of today or the high of yesterday, I'd pay like 39 cents a share to short it. So I'm going to likely take a shot at it whenever he opens. That's in about 2 minutes or so. All I got on is that the last of my fiver long, the upstart short, and then until DXF makes its way to 160, I'm going to be in that probably all day long. The upstart is pretty close. I think to getting to that first target, I got to zoom back in because I just did that nonsense for you guys. Getting very close. Actually, it actually bounced off that 263 where I was looking for that first target out. So it's made one bounce off there, which usually means, yeah, I don't mind. I'm not going to quibble over like 50 cents or so. I'll pop that up a little bit higher. So if it makes that same range and bounces off that low again, I'll take some out. It breaks 270, I'm out of it and looking at that 280 level and fiver, which looked like it was going to the absolute moon on a breakout. Thank goodness we did the dip buy and we're able to make some money into the high because it looks like it wants to take out that 190. Double top. If this doesn't hold, forget about VWAP. I'm just going to get out at 190 and look for re-entry a little bit later if it can catch a bit of a bid. So don't want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade, which if I hold through 190 is exactly what I would be doing.
Brendo?
Not sure if this is an indication, guys, of interest in this, pure interest in this, but I mean, I've seen 115, I've seen 117, I've seen 120. It's now 120.02, so flying around all over the place for Rivian. Now 121.
Yeah, so when you went down to 110 there, like Ford is trading like mad right now. Like normally Ford has tons of levels, you know, you can look at them and it's nice and calm. I did take another piece out when that cracked through because I was like, what if this price, you know, what if this move up here is already sort of, because Ford's no secret, right? I mean, we've been trading this long for a very, very long time and ringing the register even on this name. We're long just from you guys watching the show. We were long at 6, then we were long again at 8, then we're long again at 13, and now you're up to $22, $21 here. Not 22, sorry, $20, $21, and this is already the target. I mean, you guys remember when we talked about the first target that we had on Ford was 18 to 20. So now you're well above that, and it's just cruising around here. Very, very similar, obviously, to how that pricing is going to come out for Rivian. So we're waiting at 2050. Someone said, do we have a price target on Ford? I mean, really, we topped out at 2080 yesterday morning, so in the pre-market. So that could be some area of concern right there. If you do break that 2050, I think now we'll hold out, man. We only have, so just to tell everybody, we only have 30% of the price left, of our position left on Ford, as it's just bouncing around too much here at 50. So we'll wait for it. Hopefully we don't lose. We did take a position here on Tesla. I almost said Pfizer, I don't know why. On Tesla there, just against that high. And again, you know, part of it was looking at that Rivian price. Let's see if that's just ticked up a little bit. Tesla up 4.5%. I mean, I love Tesla, so I hate being short this name, but right now we're short, and we'll see if it pulls back a little bit. And if it does, maybe into some of this area here, 1050, like Neil was mentioning, or like we were all mentioning there on that, where there was some consolidation. So before a break and a much higher move. So we're out on the high of the day, which is $5. And for me, so $5 hit, that'll be worth it because we are targeting something around this 1050. But again, how violent this name is today, Tesla, like it's been a great day trade, that's for sure. You could, you know, you smoke it to the downside there. That's an easy tick. And then that long was just so amazing to the upside. So let's see if Tesla gives us a little bit of movement to the downside today. I don't know.
And I'm going to ring the Reggie on Upstart here. Like I said, I'd popped a little bit higher, you know, take $3.5 on it, just because the first short, this is what happened. Like, it took profit and then it broke the upside, broke the top. And again, if this was 280, maybe I'd be a little bit more, not conservative, I'd be a little bit more confident with this and want to hold on and get exactly my prices and stretch it out to get the bigger win. But, you know, this is not that 280 level that I liked on the daily chart. So it's made a top at 270. If it comes to VWAP, I like the VWAP retrace. And the reason I'm favoring the VWAP retrace, it's still down 16%, but it's incredibly bullish what it's doing. Tesla's going up. I mean, all these names that are getting, a lot of these names that have gotten beaten up are catching bids here with regards to Upstart, Plug, Tesla, PayPal made a bit of a bounce as well. So I just want to make sure that we're not getting on the wrong end of this. There's trades to be had, but I'm taking the profit and running on some of these shorts. That RNXT was a failed break at the high. I'll look for a re-entry there. But we're sending you to Brendan. Oh, whoa, that's crazy. We're sending you to Brendan for the small cap recap. He might mention that one.
Not much else to mention on the small cap front today. So yeah, we'll talk about RNXT. I mentioned a couple of things just before the open this morning, 950, and then wasn't much until 12. So we're at 12. It's topping out a little bit here at 12. 950 was resistance a couple of times here in the pre-market. I tried it very quickly, short, 7 million float. So starting to understand that once these break resistance, you got to be long. So I took actually 3 times as many shares long as I was short there. And took that out in front of the pre-market high. So I was done in front of the pre-market high on RNXT, goes to 12. Anyway, quick scalp on DXF. That one's very boring and volume is dying already. So yeah, quiet on small cap front, guys. Back over to you.
So you know what, a good question here in the chat. Junior, there you go. Why do the gold and Bitcoin charts look the same? Now, first off, I have not looked at a gold chart, so I can't confirm whether that's true or not, but I'm going to assume you're right. And I'll just say the inflation print. That's probably why. That's great for Bitcoin and good if you like. It's congratulations if you hold any gold. I love gold, as gold member said, I suppose. The gold I like is Goldfinger because I love James Bond movies. But I just think it's probably to do with the inflation numbers that we got today. That's the only thing I would say. SOPA, it's a 10-minute halt, obviously, because it's still closed. In 1 minute, it's going to open back up, or likely should open up in about 1 minute. And then I'm looking to play off of those highs. We'll get to it when we can. Upstart. It's broken through, so yeah, I would have got the extra buck on that first leg, and now I'm looking for that VWAP retrace. So I'll probably stick something in front of that 256. So I got my stink bid out, which is usually a good idea and something which is bullish. So if it does make that drop, I'm going to get picked up. That fiver, which we're also holding on to, I mean, it's been come up on the stock. It hasn't been quite as bullish as we would have liked. It's still holding this 190 level, so a chance that it breaks out. I didn't reload again. I want it breaking that high and getting to 200. If it's a huge volume spike into 200, I'll probably cancel my order and then look for it to possibly break. Otherwise, I want to get out in front of $200 on Fiverr. Tesla coming back to that, I guess 1060 level. But SOPA, that's the next thing I want to be looking at on this reopen, which should be any second now.
So we have $5 now plus in the money here on Tesla, but at the same time, you know, we want to be able to hold this thing a little bit more. So we could take the $5 winner on this name, but let's just wait to see where we go. You know, if you have this trade with me, it's reasonable to think about getting it out here as well at this 60 level. I mean, we've bounced off here a couple times, and now we're coming back in. So I don't have any bids out, but you know, a 1050 is not a bad target. But at the same time, you know, we're in the money here nicely, $7, $8 now on this trade. So this could be a spot where if you were thinking about it, it's not a horrible outrate here on Tesla. So that's something to look at as it here comes even more to the downside now, $8, $9. We'll see about this 1050 area of concern. So that could be a good spot for us to get out, maybe 1055 or so. I think that's a good target. So that's what I'm targeting here on Tesla. We'll see where it goes. Good thing we got out of that NEO. We've just been enamored now with Tesla as NEO's coming back to the downside as well.
So that was me by taking my first shot at that SOPA. So it checked up at that pre-market high at 52. I shorted it at 50.5 or so, and then got out when it retook that 52. So like, again, to me, I consider those successful trades if I'm able to follow my rules and not get absolutely burnt. As I said like many times yesterday, and I'll say it again here today, this is probably one a lot of people are going to want to sit out because you miss that stop and you're out of the money $5, 10%, and who knows where the stop is going to be. It's out fresh highs. So I have to wait for it to halt like probably multiple times to the upside before I'd even think about dipping back into this one. But again, follow your rules and you got to be happy with it. That's all par for the course. Losing is definitely part of the game, but that could have been like a day ruiner if you don't get your out. So had to focus on it when it happened. I'll go from there because I'm not getting into it till it reopens.
There we go.
To this bounce off of VWAP here on Upstart, which was about $1 shy of my order. I'll see if I can't get out. Just, you know what, I should be getting out right here, and I should be crossing the spread to do so. So it's just one of those things where that is definitely close enough to a bounce off VWAP that I'm just going to go ahead, lock in just sub $10 there. I wanted that retracement into VWAP anyway, so I'm going to get it on the uptick and then just punch out of the trade. That's remove liquidity, by the way. So we'll ring the register on Upstart. Still have about 35 minutes for the open of Rivian to happen on our show, but rest assured, if you don't see it open live on our show, you're going to catch it with Memes and Movers with Trader Pratt and Miss V. Certainly they're going to be looking. I mean, everybody's going to be looking.
I didn't even notice the time there. Okay, so we'll cash out of Tesla. We cashed out at 161 for $8, so that's a good trade for us there. An $8 winner on Tesla would put us back in the driver's seat on that name. It just. Again, that's what I was telling you guys. I mean, everyone's got to trade their own book, obviously, there. But you could see it's just, I felt like it was bouncing off this 60 a little bit too much. So, you know, in risk of it coming back to the upside here, as it's been a monster today, we'll take it out and then see if we want to rebuild this position. Looks like it was a decent out there as it's coming back down. So Ford just dropped down, breaking through VWAP there. So it's a good thing we did cash out. Like, those were good ideas up here. And I don't know, I mean, again, like I said, we wanted to sort of get away from that whole Rivian idea because, you know, once it starts to go here to the downside, like, I just don't know what was going on there with Ford. So we got out there. It was having, move this over. It was having a hard time at 2050. We talked about emptying some out. We took one more shot there at VWAP. It breaks back down through 2010 there, and we're gone. I do want to go back into this name, though. So Ford, let's just have a look to see where we go back. I'm almost thinking if we just have to take this out, 2020. So if we can get, let's do that. Back through 2020, we'll go long. Someone flushed Ford there, and I think it was incorrect. So we'll go back long through 2020 if it comes back in. there on Ford. I mean, you could pretend we can go long right now off of 20, but I'd rather play the momentum here just in case. So through 2020, we're going to punch the long one more time on Ford, but we got out of the way there by getting out. So yuck. We wish we would have made a little bit more there, but unfortunately, Ford now trying to get back upside. 2020 break will we retake that long. What did Tesla do? Ooh, nice out on Tesla, guys. Yes, yeah, we'll say WTF on that one because honestly, that was a pretty gutsy call there. Like I wanted to hold it and we didn't, and not that it was I think it's a gutsy call to go short. So that's why, that's why we got out there, just because like we didn't trust that play. But at the same time, I mean,
well, here's the flip side of
before.
It's before you beat yourself up, because the thing about taking it out in front of a level like 1060, resistance turning into support, is if it breaks, there's likely potential extra entries you can get. And when everyone's staring at that 1060 on Tesla, and people are looking to get back into this, there's a lot of people that are looking to get back into the stock. So
exactly,
obvious buy points, I think you want to play them safely. Somehow SOPA didn't actually, I assumed it was about to halt up, and I went away from it. So don't assume. Sometimes you assume the win, like you pull away from a game when it's like a blowout, and then it didn't happen. So SOPA didn't halt to the upside.
It's kind of like why I didn't watch the Bills Jaguars, because I thought the Bills were just going to murk them.
Yeah, you should be happy you didn't watch that game. To be perfectly honest, I'm just lucky that I'm not buying a new TV after watching that Bills Jaguars game. That's all I got to say.
I can't afford a new TV. I spent way too much.
Why you got to ruin a good day here, Sean? Maybe think about how ugly. If the Bills don't come out and blow the Jets away by like 3 touchdowns, I'm going to be upset. But this SOPA 60 is the new high
spread
here.
There?
It's going to be a huge spread, but we can't take them in suicide because we've used them up. So. We're down to 1 entry, by the way.
Nice job.
Suggestions are welcome.
Nice job, Dak. Okay, so we are. Someone said, are we reloading Palantir? Yes, we are. So, yeah, coin is at 339. Are you kidding me? We wanted to go long. Is it or no? Yeah, shit. Because we wanted to go long on Coinbase there. And we, darn it, man. Why did I have a target? Like, we talked about this 320 area. Today is so frustrating. I mean, we're up today. It's a good day. All is well, man. Every day you wake up is a good day. But damn it, on Coinbase, I would have loved to get that trade in right there. That sucks. But okay.
The only thing worse than
let's just
that
move on.
is getting it and selling it $15 too early.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, like you said, unless you buy back in, nothing at this point is really going to matter. Palantir, we're reloading this one. We've already seen a dump down here to 23, so we'll put on more now when it comes back in. That's not a big move in the NASDAQ, but Palantir did fade all that position back up. We told you we only had about 10% left, so now we put on another position here. We have about half of what we want. So we'll put on half there. We'll put on half back down to 23, and we'll see if it takes out. These wicks actually happened. So 22.90 is going to be the new out, which was always the out for us on Palantir. So we'll average back in 23.05 there. Darn it, man. That's upsetting because that Ford is the most upsetting. I really thought that could go. I'm still going to take the long on Rivian, but I have lowered my shares because honestly, man, 110, 120, whatever that price is. It was first
it's
thinking
125 now.
Yeah, what was it? It's 125 now. They first thought it was going to be like 50 to 60, something like that in that range. So now we're way off. Like you said, over $1 billion now on that, or $100 billion on that valuation. So that seems a bit rich for me. What's up, Brendo?
All right, guys, 10:30 as promised. Let's get a look at how things in Europe are shaping up. Etienne Marceau is joining us from MarketScreener.com, senior analyst with MarketScreener.com, to talk a little bit about the European markets. Great to have you, Etienne. How are things in Europe today?
Hello, Brandon. So earnings are really good in Europe. Indexes are up, as you know. And even if it's going to be a bit more quiet in the next days, it's been looking amazing on European markets. Those last weeks, it's been trailing the US with a little bit of delay, as always. And even if inflation is going up, it looks like people are still willing to take risks and invest on stock markets. However, we can't really speak of euphoria. This trend was gradually built, mostly based on confidence. And every day it makes you regret not being able to buy the market on those levels. Talking about that, those last 2 days, European indexes ended up in the red, pretty stable, but still in the red, and gave investors a time to breathe. As you can see on the chart of the Euro Stoxx 600, there has been an acceleration during October until it get closer to the previous level, previously tested by a double top at 476. But this level of 476 has been broken, and new all-time highs are made every day. But as I told you, today and yesterday was pretty stable and in the red. But because November is known as a really good month for stock markets, as we get closer to Christmas as well, we believe this trend won't fade anytime soon. But if there is one thing that people and investors are really afraid of, it's of course inflation. And it can be surprising, as we saw a few minutes ago with the US CPI, and we're afraid that it can question central bankers' policies as well. On a short-term basis, I will still be bullish and try to take advantage of this acceleration. On a mid-term strategy, I will look for some stocks that have been left behind by the market and still have a strong potential to catch up in sectors like luxury, green energies, or e-com. And on the long term, I will, of course, pay really attention to the charts, indexes charts, and see if there is any clues that lead to a potential trend reversal. And today, I have two stocks to talk about that have been big caps, part of the top movers those last days. We can talk about associated British Foods, for example. The patterns looks, the technical pattern looks really nice. You can see that the price is coming back from a really nice head and shoulders, and then it went back down at the bottom of this upgoing channel. It bounced on the 1700s, and now we strongly believe that it can go back to those 2300s in the next weeks. And we have really good news about Associated British Foods, as the CFO just gave an interview a few days ago saying that Primark, the main company of ABF, was actually ready for Christmas. The stock levels were okay. There were no problem with supply chain disruption, for example, and customers won't have any problem with the prices because they will remain the same, and the results are going to be amazing for Associated British Foods. So it's of course a buy on the midterm. And I also have a second stock to talk about, which is Kering. I don't know if you know Kering. Most of you must know. It's part of the big luxury powerhouse in France, next just behind LVMH. Maybe you must know, maybe you know LVMH better, but Kering is the perfect example of the company that has been left behind by the market those last days because of the price correction concerning the Chinese macroeconomics that have been published those last weeks. And this pattern is really nice because all the long-term investors took advantage of this price correction to come in for long-term purpose, and so there have been an acceleration at the bottom of this upgoing channel, and now we strongly believe that Kering is going to go back to the 792, and we're going to have the same pattern that the one we can see at the moment on LVMH, for example. So it's really rare to see those stocks, those amazing stocks, because fundamentals are really good as well, and market screener ratings are good. It's really rare to see those stocks being behind their indexes. So good buy on this one as well.
Yeah, interesting times, interesting spot in the market, as we've been discussing on our show as well, Etienne. Record highs always, bring more excitement, more eyeballs to the market in general. Etienne Marco, senior analyst for MarketScreener.com. We appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. A look at how Europe is today.
Europe for the win. We know Keurig. Everyone loves Keurig. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not everyone loves Keurig. Sometimes you got to make a fresh pop, but I actually have one. I love it. DoorDash, not so much. So the breakout at 230, wish I had left it at that. I did miss that level on the daily chart when it broke and then took the even dollar break. And then like the reload in that area on the daily, it then broke back at below 225. And so I'll turn red on this name. If I could have left it at the breakout, fair enough, but I like the dip buy. And the market at the same time, thank goodness we got out. The market at the same time putting in a bit of a pullback. If you look at the NASDAQ kind of spiked up and then put a pullback in. Same thing over there in the ES. But I told you a little something about that DXF, which again, these things are going to happen to these stocks every now and then. It's going to catch that news. 157 was that previous close. It dips all the way back down. So low of the day, $1.58. So first of all, I will tell you how incredibly shocked I am that Dunxin Financial Holdings adds metaverse and blockchain to, I don't know, whatever the heck, to its description, whatever you want to call it. Gaps up at 7 a.m. when retail comes in at 250 and then goes all the way back down. So it took till 10:36 or 10:35. 1 hour of the market to be open for it to go right back to its previous closing price, and zero people should be shocked about that.
Okay, so here comes Palantir. I was waiting to show you guys some size there. So there's a huge seller that keeps on coming every single time on Palantir, and it's like it has to break through it. It's 100,000 shares clean. He's come like 5 or 6 times on the MIAX. I forget what that gateway is.
MIAX, it's like the...
Is it just MIAX? Like I just forget.
MIAX.
Okay, yeah. MIAX. Okay, so I wasn't sure if there was something else for that. So it keeps showing up on MIAX there, MIAX. It pays a decent rebate. So the guy's holding this level down. Every time it keeps coming up, it gets smashed down. So we are long here. We are defending 23. We're long at 23.08. You can see that. That's our average price right now. So it's in the money for us. We're in the money 2 pennies. But I feel like I'm just waiting for that guy to show back up. If he doesn't, then that's great. And then hopefully it'll go back to the upside. But there was some hard selling down there at that 23 level. And it's too bad because I wanted to show you, and thank you, Etienne, for coming out there. If you like those European recaps there, that's going to be a good one for us. But 23.11 there to the upside. Hopefully it continues to go, but there's a big seller here. So if we do get back into this area, 20s back up to VWAP would be pretty sweet. We should empty a little bit out in case the market for some reason wants to turn, because we do know that there is a nice seller coming through on PLTR, which is not good for our position. We defended this level. We're long at 16 now on Ford. I mean, there's Palantir up to 13s. So we will. Oh, we just missed it there. We're trying to take a piece. I just offered 13 as it went up, and we missed it. Just trying to take 5 cents because I know that here it comes. Hopefully it comes back and we get out. Hopefully that seller does not come back. And then Ford dips all the way back down to 20. That would have been a better price to reload, but unfortunately, we did reload. But it takes out that 21st, and we get long there 21 on that break. So the 21 break happens, then it falls immediately to 20, and we put more shares on at 05. So that's why you're going to see an average price of 17 right there. This was a 2/3. That was 3/4 of the position. So like if that is 1,500 shares, then that's 500. So we're going back in, and we'll see if it can go back up to that 2040 level. Hopefully on. There we go. So you see the sellers are starting to come back on Palantir here. No size on the bid. There's always size on the ask. So any bump up, we got to try to get out of this one.
So that's SOPA is now halted up at 63.42. So congratulations if you went long in this thing. I'm not gonna. You're not going to see me advocate going long. It's just not going to happen. No. But at this particular point, it is now finally. I assumed it was going to halt up, and it didn't. It pulls back. It holds. Look at that level that it holds. It actually holds the previous high at 52 on a dime. That's almost to the penny at 52.30. And then with this halt up, I'm starting to think about 70 even, 75. Even just like right now, the indicative price is 66.42, so it does 59 now, 66.59. So it looks like it's going to open higher by a couple of dollars. That does mean that I would wait until the even dollar fail or another halt up. That'll be like I don't know, it's like 6 or 7 halts. It was like 16 yesterday or 12 or whatever it was. So plenty of chances it can continue to do this. I'm only looking short. But I need to get that set up. I need to see it fail at a previous halt price or fail at an even level like a 70 or a 75. And there is no need to overtrade or force myself into this one. Entirely possible. I'm now only looking at this and then Rivian adjusting what I want to do here because it's still tapping at 121. So at this point, time to accept. Rivian is opening well above $100, and there's no question about it at this point.
Nope, and there shouldn't be a question about it. As it's. We'll see. Did you just look at it on the screen? RIVN here on NASDAQ. Let's just have a quick look. Forget about these prices. Obviously, no one's selling at $1 or buying at 67,000. But I've never even seen anything like this ridiculous. Like, bro, you can just bid 60,000. You don't have to be 67,460 here. Like, I almost feel like there's like some codes in here. Like, why are we bidding these certain prices and offering certain prices here? It's like keyword. Like this guy's at 6,900, right? And this guy's like, no, thank you. I'm willing to pay 67,000 for this. So
bragging rights.
Of course, yeah, exactly. These are all I should just put a bid in right now. We We can't, I don't think, anyways. It won't let us put one up that high. But, you know, someone can put one in here at 68,000. It doesn't matter. Any of these prices are going to, just like any of these prices, are all going to get grouped and printed at an open price. So that's what Rivian looks like. Well, hopefully it'll come out for us in the next 20 minutes. If not, we go live right from our show over to Memes and Movers with Pratt and V Money. So hopefully you guys are able to attend that, and you'll be able to see the Rivian open up. Oh yeah, by the way, before I show Brendan again, look, there it is right there. MyX. I mean, I don't know if you saw it. Hopefully, he might come to 07 one more time. I don't have the book, but he was right there at 8 with another 100,000 shares.
It's the pokeroo, man.
So
every time you say it, I turn my head and I miss it.
Watch. Hopefully he comes back. It doesn't matter. We have to go to Brendan, but he's there at 8. So he was there at 7. He or she was there, proper pronouns, was there at 7 and 8. Darn it. Okay, I don't know. I might have to get out. I don't want to get out of this, but we may have to on Palantir and wait for the seller to be gone. But by that time, it'll be too late. Over to Brendan now at the big screen, and let's check out Sector Watch.
Hey guys, yeah, a bit of a mixed board to show you here once again today. The market is negative, but I mean, we almost got positive there. It was basically flat just before it came on. All about the tech group right now. Juniper here and MA, strangely enough, kind of helping to offset an otherwise pretty weak showing for tech stocks. Semiconductors leading the way. We talked about AMD, huge run up 2 days in a row, bit of a pullback here. 2.6%. Micron right below that. AMAC, QCOM, NVIDIA, they're all in negative territory, offsetting any other, as I said, kind of positivity coming from this group. Energy stocks as well, making up a big chunk of the weakness in the overall market today. So oil to the downside. Here's all the, or some at least, of the travel names. AAL, I saw UAL here a second ago. It's bouncing maybe 0.8% to the downside. So airlines under pressure again today. Some of the industrial stocks. I mean, you can see the colors here. They're very flat, not really doing a heck of a lot. The brighter, the bigger the box on this board stands for the bigger the move. Obviously, that's Tesla, 4.25% win here after earnings, 2.4%. Under Armour having a decent day as well. Some of the consumer discretionary group in positive territory, but being offset by, again today, the retail group in that sector in negative territory. Financials are strong, healthcare strong as well. It's leaving the market kind of flat, guys. 0.12 to the downside right now. Back to you.
Right.
So while I was staring at SOPA, which didn't open up in 5 minutes, means 10-minute halt, RNXT just felt like an absolute rock, and it is now in a volatility halt to that downside. Look, I tried it a couple of times to the short side without any success. Well, muted success the second time. I thought it could have been a break at 12.50, and it never really got a chance to short off of that level because I missed it here, and I wasn't going to do it at $11. So, you know, there was a key price right around this 980 where I was shorting before. I think if it can hold 980 to 10, it might be kaputs for the day. But it's SOPA that's definitely going to be in my mind. This will open up in a couple of minutes, and then SOPA is going to open up in about 1 minute or so. If you're looking at Tesla, this 1080 level, by the way, look at it round into this 1080 like over and over again. There's nothing really that significant about that particular price, but if you kind of go back, and again, this is like the 15-minute chart here. If I was to be picking things out, it's more closer to that 1100 that I like. And then if you look really, really close, it's like a 1085-ish where there was a consolidation break and then some support if you go back into here. So nothing obvious on the charts. I think it's just a round number. Tesla is gearing up. The longer it consolidates here, you could have a potential break in the afternoon during Memes and Movers or maybe during the close. We'll see, but Tesla doesn't feel like it's done by any stretch of the imagination. As crazy as it sounds, it feels like we got out too early for the long trade, but you got to stick to your plan. And SOPA, my plan is to not force any short in the stock. I think that's probably a sound one. I would suggest the same thing to everyone else.
So here we go. Quickly come over here because you can see this MIAX guy again. Oh, he was just...
Oh, come on,
I know, he just got hit. No, he just got hit. So he was there at 85 again. And look, we got out, right? It broke 90, we got out. I mean, that was the play. So we are slightly negative on Palantir today. But again, it could have been infinitely worse if we don't cash out there. But the seller came back the very next day. And, you know, we couldn't do anything about that. So just like the cat came back, the seller came back, and he didn't go away.
Red
so there it is. So there it is again, 60,000 shares one more time there at 91. gone. Well, no, you'll see it when it's gone there.
didn't see
Anyway,
it.
it doesn't matter. It's not there. It is right there. So we'll see.
There it is.
See, like it just takes a while, and then he's got to get hit. It's not a very popular gateway, so it takes a while for this guy to clear out. But he's been. I don't know. This seller, honestly, like this has done 37 million shares. Like, look, no one's even hitting the guy. Everything's being done on the dark pool. Like this stock is being super manipulated right here. And I don't know, like, what is this person selling? Like, I don't understand what they're doing. We're going to go long on a 95 break and then give it to that 85 bottom one more time. But here it goes. So now we're long again. My biggest position of the day in Palantir is right now. We just put it on at 95. Probably going to be crazy. We're only going to give it 10 cents. I can't afford to do any more than that. The bottom right there is 84, so we'll give it to that. Biggest position on in Palantir right now. Hopefully that buyer's gone, and we'll just continue to make it to the upside. So when we're off this here, I'm going to phone up Aunt Kathy, which obviously I can't because that would be manipulation. But hopefully she's in there buying, and I just hope that wasn't her selling there on Mia X there to the upside. So we'll keep watching.
I don't think she's using my X.
Maybe it's looking my ex, baby. Kathy Woods getting those rebates, baby. So we'll see what's happening here. Hopefully we can get a move back to the upside. If we noticed the selling around 2308, 2309 as we talked about that. So if we can get back up there, then we'll take out a piece at that point because like I said, my largest position on Palantir is on right now in hopes that Mia X there is gone. So we'll wait to see, but that was a big seller, hopefully gone now. Offer 2305. We'll put some bids out, some offers out there. Hopefully we're able to catch that, but there it goes. Upside Palantir is what we're waiting for.
So here's another, I just took a shot in SOPA here. It just broke that 70. It goes up. It fail breaks at 75. I took it when it reclaimed 70 even. If it goes down and flushes here, I mean, I'm going to get out again. So it's just another case of in, out very quickly. I wanted to see a failure at a key price. I'm going to continue to take pot shots at SOPA, right? Like this is the key. I want to make sure that I'm not sitting there digging in too deep. But if this thing flushes, at this point, I think it's at least 15 to 20 bucks. So each time, the higher it goes, the more I want to risk growth-wise because the more upside there's going to be. If it breaks 67 or halts down, I actually like the entry on the halt down at this point. So it's going to be an interesting trade. At this point, it's this or Rivian. SOPA opened back up and is right at that $10. It's still trying to hold it. So I'm watching both SOPA, RNXT is the other one I mentioned. Sorry, I got the name wrong there. And of course, going to be Rivian. Those are the three things I'm watching. That SOPA, it just cannot seem to flush further past that 10 even. But if it doesn't break upside soon, you know it's going to come down. It might be done for the rest of the day. It doesn't break out here. But it's SOPA that's on my mind. It could still take this 67 out and absolutely flush. I'm not chasing this one any further than a 67 break or a halt. Brendo?
I just saw SOS pop back up here. Guys, if you missed it in the pre-market, there was an offering announced. It was halted for a period and then resumed and went right to 150. The offering was actually at 175, so it did pop back up to the upside there for SOS.
Okay, so that person showed up one more time again, man. They're huge. They showed up with 100,000 shares at 90. There, look. I mean, what is going on? Like, I'm glad that we're able to identify this in front of you guys, but I have to just get out now. Like, I can't hold this for that bottom, so we'll hold a small piece now just in case, but I can't do that, so I can't hold this. So unfortunately, we have to get out. Look, if that breaks that 2290, we'll put in a stop order right now to go long through 2291, but I'll try it one more time and then just hope that this seller's gone. But we're gonna have to wait for the 91s to break. Here it comes to the downside. So we got out of the way there, guys. Like I told you, I put on too big of a position there to hold that, especially when that seller's still there. So there we go. This is what trading is all about, honestly. Like, I'm not happy to take the hit, but I'm happy to find that seller. And honestly, we should probably be short. It's just I don't want to put all my eggs. Like, it's already broken. This is 23. We love Palantir down here. Should be and will be buying this name. So we'll wait to see where it goes. But right now, man, wow, what a move down on this name. And I think it's just being pushed. So and pushed. Not even pushed, it's just being forced. Like, this has no chance to go up. If every single time it tries to go, you get that seller of a hundy, there's nothing we can do. So we're gonna wait for that. Like, watch, it's just gonna crush this level at 80, and then we'll get out at a break of 79. But wow, there goes Palantir, man. Glad we identified that seller, and I hope that if any of you did take that big position with me, you're able to get out. I mean, it's a 5-6 cent hit. Well worth it in our playbook here today. But 2279 is gonna be my out. Can't absorb that. We're gonna go long 2290. There it is, 2291. Like, look at this, just crushing Palantir today, guys.
Yeah, and I'm taking another shot here at that SOPA. It looked like it broke that 67, so I got into it. I definitely have another stop here. Going to keep it a little bit tight. I'm always giving it a little bit more room each time. I got some bids just to make sure we capture some in front of that previous halt price. Because of two things. I want to take profit. If this does flush here, I want to make sure I'm taking profit because I want to re-enter the trade anyways on any potential halt down. If it breaks through like 71, 72, I want to be getting out. I don't want this thing getting anywhere near the high of the day. Like each time, I'm not letting it get back to the high. I'm making sure I maintain a relatively tight stop. This is the stock I'm going to be on. That RNXT is still churning right at $10. So this is the one that I think is moving a little bit more. And I want to make sure I catch this chance. I talked about this yesterday. I wanted to take my shot at this one for sure, SOPA. And Rivian, still 121. No change in the indicative price for at least the last 10 minutes or so. If there was, we'd let you know. I'm not sure we're going to get that reopened. Looks like it's up to memes and movers, which interesting. People saying we could consider a name change there because it's more about midday movers. Not a horrible idea, and we welcome all suggestions, by the way. But yeah, it looks like Trader Pratt and Ms. V are going to get the fun of on-air Rivian trading. We'll still be here, though.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be taking that trade for sure. So as that was happening, we're actually able to bring a little bit of money back in here. So that's why it's kind of a moot point here on Palantir. Obviously, we want to win as much as we can there. As Palantir just comes right back, and now of course I'm long 91. Like this could be a disaster here if it stops. We should have got long right there, 79 break, but maybe that seller's gone. So we put on another position here on Palantir and right back to 95, and then stops. Let's see where it goes. What we were talking about there was Ford. So we can have a quick look here at Ford. Oops, that's not Ford. That's Palantir. This is Ford.
No.
Let's go.
No.
I don't know. Neo, what happened now? SOPA goes all the way downside. Hopefully you made that money back.
Tell God your plans, and that's if you want him to laugh at you.
There's there's Ford. Just dropped back in. We got some out at 20, but now Ford's coming back in. So watch out there. Did you want to talk about that trade quickly?
Yeah, before we go to Brendan for Money Talks, so like the plan for taking it out was to say I wanted to get more shares if it halted downside. I didn't get the fill at 62.70 on that halt, so I still have some shares on here to the short side. So as long as it opens down, I'll be up. But my intention of covering this shallow was to get more right here, and then take a second swing at it because there's been liquidity in that 15-second period that it halts. So again, I'll probably hold this to at least. I think you can get down to like $50 to $55 at this particular point, but I did miss a reentry on that halt. So SOPA's still making power moves up and down as we send you to Brendan for Money Talks.
Big moves to show you on this board today, guys, and we'll focus on crypto down here, kind of reiterating this headline, what we were talking about, crypto as inflation play today. You can see a 31-year high. It's right at the bottom here, but inflation jumping to a 31-year high in the U.S. Initially getting a sell-off here in Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin on the daily chart down to 65,800, and then we rip right through to all-time highs. So the number was actually a little bit better than expected, but still 31-year high for inflation. So that also has the U.S. dollar sharply higher, 0.64% on the day, 94.5 for the DXY, pressuring a lot of these today. Outside of Japanese yen, Swiss franc, 0.9, 0.6 to the upside. Volatility play typical for that. Turkish lira also higher, but you can see a nice day for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We did get to, as we said, all-time highs, but we're just flirting with that high, the prior all-time high at the moment, guys, for BTC. Back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of things happening here. One,
Coinbase is rocking.
Coinbase is like, got out of way too many things too early. Upstart was one of them. That got back to 250, so Upstart got crushed all the way back in. Coinbase, like you said there, is continuing to run, so it's at 350, so got out of that one too early. And then the last one, which we didn't make a trade on. I don't know if Trader Pratt is trading this because he usually shorts a firm down to 136, right? Like this is the thing. Anything, and this is what I was getting at with the tweet this morning and talking about it in the morning show, anything that came up like gangbusters, then you better believe it can pull back in just as fast. So, there's some obvious levels on a firm on the daily. The 50 period's at 131 and then 105. All those are realistic prices as far as I'm concerned. Looks like a SOPA's tapping it flat and still no change in Rivian. Oh, sorry, my bad. 120 is the new indicative price. We'll move by a buck.
Okay, so we're actually, thank God, their pigs are getting slaughtered on Palantir all day today. So we'll try to, capture some of the profit when we have it on board. We took that long at 91, the same position, that same big position of ours that we took here. And you can see when we lost on this trade, we lost on average 5 or 6 cents. So there's 91. We make it back because it goes above 23. We actually got some out at 23.01 and 02 there. So now we're going to hold the rest as we have about half of this position on now. So if it can go, man, then yes, sir, we do have this. So we'll see where we go from here on Palantir. Just an out here. I have one more out at 23 even, and then I just canceled the other ones, and we'll see if we can get back to VWAP 23.15 or so coming through. Wow, this day is just rolled on, man. It's 10:56 right now. I don't know if it's Brendan or V, but we can throw there right now.
Yeah, busy day for earnings once again, guys. Just keeping my eye on Rivian here. 120 still on the tap average price. It's about 3.2 million paired, so who knows how many more to go before we actually get that thing trading, but still indicating 120 for Rivian. Here comes what is to come tonight for earnings, aftermarket, and tomorrow morning.
Okay, so wow. Okay, so a firm I know
they're dumping them in
big.
front.
Yeah, it's a big one today. Disney, I think.
SoFi.
Yeah, SoFi, Disney, PaySafe there. We talked about PaySafe. We're waiting for PaySafe. It's not an actionable event for me. I don't think anything's going to happen where we get out of our position, but we do want to see what happens with PaySafe. And then honestly, I'm debating selling some Disney today, but like we mentioned, if I don't buy back Coinbase, it doesn't matter. I sold it at 360 yesterday, and then now it's back to 350. So what's the difference there? So Disney, I'm looking to sell that. I don't think it's going to be a good report for them, so we'll wait to see. And then Open Door, always interesting, as that's a former SPAC, of course, that has a lot of interest there, especially off some of that Zillow movement the last couple of days. So we'll wait on that. But
I think some people are going to be looking at that Marqeta as well. If you're looking at stocks that have put in big retracements, that's already down
right
like
now.
30% from its highs. So, it's at the 50 period. It's going to be a put up or shut up point. I kind of feel like if it doesn't print well, that stock is coming right back down to 20 even, and there's just as much upside.
Look, for the hot dog trade of the day here, I think we can probably be pretty happy with what NIO's doing. If you look on this board right here, we went long early at 40.50, cashed out, went long again right here, cashed out at VWAP, and now we hold this thing to the moon as it looks like that's where it wants to go. Next stop, who knows where for this name, as it's starting to go back to the upside now for NIO. If we get out anywhere near 42, I think that's pretty good. So a 70-cent win right now on NIO, a dime piece right now on Palantir, as we can make all this back, guys, on Palantir, and we're still defending that Ford bottom. It just broke, so we got to watch out for Ford taking out 1989 here on Ford. We just defended and got some out, so I'm actually surprised I didn't even know it broke there. What's up, Miss V?
Hey guys, thank you for spending this morning with us. I hope you're doing great. And please join me in Pratt to keep trading this day, and also help to increase the likes and smash it right now if you didn't do this yet. Happy National Vanilla Cupcake Day.
Specifically vanilla.
Yeah, vanilla,
Yeah, vanilla's okay. Like every cupcake is good. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we support the vanilla cupcake movement.
Not a big icing guy though.
That's definitely a good one.
Tetra on icing.
You don't have too much icing there. I prefer just that one layer, not that extra little flour on top there. But that's icing. And thank you so much, Sam. We love you guys too. Very, very good show here today. I think we traded a lot for you guys, man. Tesla, Upstart, Palantir's been a 64 fills for me on Palantir today. Ford's been a good one for us today. Microsoft's been a monster. NIO's been good. Fubo. I mean, look at this Fubo call, guys. Short $30. It's at 26 right now. So, I mean, a couple good calls here today, a couple ones that I missed. But either way, man, we're positive. It's been a good day for us, and I hope it's just been just as good for you.
Yeah, and Coinbase, what an unbelievable run. So it turns off 345. I'm a little bit concerned that it could pull back in here, especially given the consolidation. But hey, it's a Rivian kind of day. You're going to get a chance, of course. Look, you guys are going to get a chance to see this on Memes and Movers when it opens up. That's one of the benefits about us going all day long, is you'll never miss anything in the markets as long as you're with TraderTV Live. That was the you guys asking for it is part of the purpose. That's the other reason. We want to make sure we're catching every single market move as it happens in real time. I'm definitely excited for it. For those of you, there's a reason Arun is in the building. That's because I got to pick up my daughter from school today. So I will not be doing the close show. You guys get Arun, which should be fantastic to get a little bit of that futures action. But I'm a little bit curious because the second we throw to Trader Pratt and Miss V, I gotta know whether Pratt was all over that Affirm, because he shorts this thing every single day, it feels like, and Affirm got woodshedded. So I'm kind of hoping that's the case. We're gonna fire it over to Trader Pratt and Miss B. Memes and movers, go get it.
Welcome back to Memes and Movers. It is Wednesday, Review and IPO day. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. This is the beautiful Miss V to my right.
Hey guys, welcome back everyone. Please, as usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, and we would really appreciate if you like this video. Indeed, it's a busy day. Review and IPOs happening today, going public, and there are a lot of chances